Come on.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil Porto, a.k.a. Phil All Caps, a.k.a. That's the Spirit, and all that fun stuff. And I'm excited because straight up, there is so much for us to talk about as Knicks fans. And I've said that pretty much every week in the playoffs that we've had our show, but it's like more and more beautiful things that we've been able to watch as Knicks fans that honestly we have not been able to see in years of fandom. And so I'm ecstatic. Like, you know, the last few weeks, me, my brother, my uncle, my dad were nonstop texting throughout the game. I'm at these watch parties, and this last one, shout out to the Tampa Bay area Knicks group. They are freaking amazing. Us and our guy Chris and our guy Danian, we put on these watch parties, and this last one, there was only standing room on both patios and all of the inside. There was no tables by 6:30, 7 o'clock. There were absolutely no tables. It was just standing room only. So I was ecstatic to just celebrate with all these people as the Knicks do what they do in these playoffs. They revive themselves and show us, do not doubt us. There is no reason to doubt. And so we're going to talk about what we saw. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat already. I see my guy Carbon Intellect in there said, let's get this chip. Yes, we are on the road to a chip. And I feel that even more now than ever. My guy, Mr. Lee Escobedo, said, what a beep shirt, Phil. So this shirt, I'm actually going to give a shout out to it right now, but then I'm also going to give a shout out to it a little bit later when more people are in the chat. So I want to give a shout out to my guy. He goes by Jugs201 on Instagram, and his brand is called Appreciate the Real. And nice. He, you know, is one of the people that sponsored me for this series of the playoffs. So this shirt just goes mad hard. Like, this is just so thick. So, and the quality is ridiculous. It's a thick tee, but it's also got this like faded white and black like kind of design. So it's not like marble-esque, but you see like the white and stuff like that when you look close enough to the shirt. So it's really, really dope. Shout out to you so much, Lee, for supporting everything that we've been doing at these watch parties. You've been like one of the people that has backed us so much in this. So this right here, this is the brand that I put on Instagram. Follow them. I'm going to put the shirt right here. And if you guys purchase one, use the code Knicks10 and you will get a discount. He's been like super supportive of the show and everything. And so he made that code just for the people that are watching this show right now. But Al, how you feeling, bro? How you feeling? I know we were together, but how are you personally feeling?
I'm feeling great. I was dead tired today. I came home and took a nap with the baby and got ready for this podcast. So I'm ready to go now. But man, like being at the watch party, yo, the energy in there is crazy different, man. I feel like I'm watching the game in New York, bro. I swear. Like we living and dying with every shot. The bar absolutely erupting like down the stretch of the game. Like, man, it was just dope, bro. Like, so that just took a lot out of me because you saw me. I was running around. At one point when we went down, I went outside and I started watching the game from the patio, and we started coming back. So I was like, that's it. I gotta finish watching the game from outside. And then we were doing all the raffles and stuff on the inside. So I had to keep bouncing back and forth from inside, outside. Anyways, the party took a lot out of me. I was dead tired, but it's a good tired, man. We got the dub. I'm happy because I didn't predict sweep, but I've been, I have that clip that's out there where I mentioned, Shaq got swept his first finals and so did LeBron. And I just feel like Wemby emptied the tank against OKC, so I was chirping with a lot of people on on Instagram. So I was hoping that we did get this game one victory, as I thought we would. So yeah, all good things, man. Excited to get into the details as the show goes along.
We're going to talk about those, but I want to slam the brakes because as I was talking about him, my man Jugs showed up in the building. Thank you so much. Jugs is the one that's got this shirt. Jugs, I see some people in the chat saying, I need that shirt with cat on it. So just another idea. Shout out to him. I posted the link right there with the promo code Knicks10. Pick up one of those shirts. Show support to dope independent brands. I know that there's a lot of like random companies that are making Knicks merch right now, but the real New Yorkers deserve the money. The real New Yorkers deserve the support. So pick one up for him. Shout out to my guy Toon in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to Rara in the building. Appreciate you being here as well. Sunny XD. Appreciate you in the building. Thank you all for all of you that are showing up right now. Right now, we got my guy Sky. Appreciate you being in the building. And let's talk about that for a second because, when Al started getting hype outside, he forgot that he was working with me. And so he's like, bro, I'll be right back. I got to go back to the patio. But right before the next commercial, I'm going to be here so that we could do the raffle. I said, all right, bet. Commercial starts.
Psych.
Nothing. I'm calling him. I hear, hey, bro, I'm coming. And then the game starts back up again. I was like, yo. And then I want to give him a shout out because Al is good at a lot of things, like breaking down the game of basketball. Like Al is so good at like breaking down little plays that he sees and finding good content. One thing Al is not good at, and I apologize to all of our sponsors, is we're doing our best fit of the night giveaway. We're doing our raffle giveaway. Both times I give Al the camera and it's not on. And he goes, oh, bro, I thought you hit record. And I said, okay, I'm going to hit record this time for you. The second time I hit record for him, he gives me the camera back and he pushed the turn off record button. So next time I have to redo all those raffles and, get content for the promoters. So appreciate the sponsors, appreciate Al, but some people got gifts and that's just not his. So
in my defense, I was completely caught by surprise because you didn't have me do any of that stuff last time. You were just like, here's the camera. I'm like, oh crap, okay, I guess I'm doing this. So
and the best part is he's moving with the light and everything for like 4 minutes during this content.
I really thought I was recording.
That the record button is not blinking anymore. Like he's just straight up like in people's faces and everything like that. I'm like, oh god. It was comical. It was one of those like Saturday Night Live type skits. It was fun. So good memories with me and Al. Apollo,
sorry, bro.
Are you good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was watching the game with my kids, so it's funny. My both of my kids have their stories about their friends at school who are not Knicks fans, and the little trash talking. And one of my kids is 8 years old, and his kids already in school talking about the Knicks are better than your team and all of that. I'm like, yeah, you can't beat this. So for him to sit here and watch it for me, my oldest was watching the first half, and I think around the third quarter he started to fall asleep. I'm like, he was on TikTok the whole time. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna fall asleep. He's not gonna make it. But my youngest, he stayed awake all the way to the end.
Wow.
So he got to see, the heroics of Jalen Brunson. He got to see his dad going crazy for every moment of it. And I can't help but think that someday he's going to emulate a lot of those actions. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But it's good to see him, and have that moment with him at this age. Because I didn't have that at my young age. I wasn't around my dad like that. So to be able to share this moment with my kids is, it means the world to me.
That's fire.
Yeah. Having my boys at the watch parties, they weren't at this last one because it's just a lot to do them multiple,
right.
So since Krista had to watch our friend Darcy, our friend Sam and Jesse's baby today, Darcy, I was like, let's not do tomorrow, Thursday, Wednesday. Let's do the Friday one. So they'll be at the watch party tomorrow, which I'm really ecstatic about because it's going to be so much fun going through that. I'm actually going to share that flyer real quick because if you are in Tampa, which is crazy because we've been seeing people show up that have found us on Instagram. We have found people that follow me on Twitter that are like, yo, we saw your fit and we liked the fit and we followed you. And we then saw that you were putting on a watch party, came to it. And I was like, man, you know, these little like random, like everyday game day fits is bringing some people out. Like, let's keep doing it. So shout out to them. And this is the flyer for the next one, giving shouts and praise to our guy Mikal Bridges on this flyer because he showed up in the playoffs and he got a beating from me throughout the season. So I wanted to give him some love, put him on flyer and say, you know, I love you, man. You're good. You're good. All right. So let's talk, guys. Shout out right here. My guy William Montero just showed up. Appreciate you for being in the building. We got Debo in the building. Knicks really could sweep the finals. Facts. We're going to talk all about that. We are excited. We do have a brand by the name of Old Dominic that's going to be joining us in a little bit, and we'll be trying some of these delicious pours that they sent to us. And so I'm excited to crack open some bottles as we talk Nick. Shout out right here. Is that Kari's crib?
He was recording that. He was in the spot last night.
Yeah. He's the one that found my fit. Was like, yo, I saw your fit on Twitter. So shout out to him. He saw me in the parking lot, was like, yo, I saw your outfit this afternoon. Shout out to him. Most optimistic Knick fan. Appreciate you being in the building. We got many of you heavy hitters in here right now. If you guys can, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you can, retweet this, repost it on Instagram. We want as many people as possible in the building because this is the most exciting time as a Knick fan. And at about 8:45, as we talk about different topics, we're going to leave it completely open for you guys to come on up and share your takes. You don't have to use a camera if you don't want to, but if you guys have a take on the things we're talking about, starting at around 8:45, we're going to leave the door open for you throughout the night. So please make sure to click that. I just posted the open panel link right now. Shout out right here. Wemby looked so out of place yesterday. Cat was killing him. Facts. We have a whole segment that we're going to talk tonight about Cat and what we're seeing from him already. Shout out right here. Salute, Space Ghost. Appreciate you. All right, so guys, let's jump straight into it, okay? The New York Knicks are on a 12-game win streak, which is crazy to say. In the playoffs, a 12-game win streak, okay? So now we're no longer in that, like, third tier of 11 games. We're making it to that next tier of, like, people that have been able to have multiple wins in the playoffs. And we kept another team below 100 points. A team that is the team that so many people kind of were favoring to possibly win. You know, there was all those talks about the East is easy. You know, the West is going to win. If the Knicks beat everybody, they're definitely going to lose against the Spurs or OKC. And we come into that first game. We take the game in San Antonio. We keep them under 100 points. And we go on a 12-game win streak. So one thing I wanted to talk about, and we talked about it a little bit in the chat between the three of us, is the rust is out of the way. The Knicks spent quite a bit of time waiting for that OKC Spurs series to be over. And as antsy as we were all getting and bored as we were getting, you can imagine our team. You know, like waiting to play, the anticipation, their bodies kind of like being comfortable and relaxed and not really being able to, like, you know, exude the exercise that they normally would do in, you know, these extremely competitive games. So the rust factor. And I want us to talk about the rust factor. And were we concerned with the rust factor? Do we feel like that's what we saw in the first half of this game? And what was your final takeaway on, you know, us getting out of this first game and looking forward to the next? And then we'll break it down a little more. But just the rust factor, was it something you were concerned about? Was it something that you think was attributing to the first half? I'll go with you first, Apollo.
I think there was something to it. I was a little worried about it because I saw how we came out last series versus the Cavs. But then, of course, I wasn't worried because I saw how that game ended. You know what I mean? But then I'm sitting here thinking, like, well, is that Is that a flash in the pan? Is that something that is consistent? You know what I mean? Can we continue to do that kind of thing? And you show tonight, man. I mean, last night, these guys, it's just amazing to see how they can stay in the game. And Kat was saying it during the game, that offense will come, the shots will fall. You know what I mean? You just have to stay vigilant on the defensive end, and that's what they did. The first quarter, it got a little bit of shaky, it got a little rocky. First half, you got Champagne, who's just lighting things up, and we just weren't able to catch fire just yet. But I figured, I'm like, if we can keep this within 15, I think this is always going to be a game. You're talking about a team that has proven time and time again this entire season that even when they're down, you can't count them out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think there was some rust factor. I was a little bit worried about that. But these guys just proved that it really doesn't matter time and time again.
Yeah. All right, Al, what's your thoughts?
Leading into the game, I wasn't worried about the rust thing because I thought the team learned their lesson from the Cavs game one. They did a lot of talking about that in the pressers leading up to the final. The players said that they went to Mike Brown with a different way that they wanted to prep for this break. They said they wanted to scrimmage more so that they could stay in rhythm, and so I thought they really were making changes that was going to benefit them and not come out rusty. But if you just look at the quarter by quarter box, not even the box score, just like the scores by quarter, we only scored 19 points in the first quarter. So like that's got to be some type of rust. And then we won every single quarter after that. We scored 29 in the second, 28 in the third, and 29 in the fourth. So that's I don't know. I think that's probably rust and maybe some adjusting. The Spurs are a good defensive team, and so it just takes some time to kind of figure out like, this is how they're playing us, because they kind of did throw a little bit of a curveball because we were all expecting Wemby to just roam off of Josh Hart, and he didn't exclusively do that. He was actually guarding Cat a lot, which is a surprising decision from their coach. So I think some of it may have just been like adjusting to like the way that they were playing us as well. So, but look, at the end of the day, I'd rather be rusty than fatigued, and fatigue is something that I think the Spurs are definitely going to be struggling with. And even if we don't sweep them, if this, like, the longer this drags on, like the more the odds tilt in our favor. They're just going to be dead tired. So
yeah. So I was a little worried about rust, not because I don't think that our team can rise to the occasion, but I think that much time waiting is always going to be a factor, no matter who you are. Like our guys, you see how they played better as the game went by. Why? Because they were getting in rhythm. You can only practice so hard to get into rhythm. Practice and games are never going to compare. It's just not. And so this, for me, reminded me of the Cavs. We were down, we finished strong, and we were ready for the rest of the series. And so it was good to see that, and good to see that it happened in San Antonio. That was the big thing, is the rust game is out of the way, and it was done stealing a game from them. So we ultimately now have the home court advantage. When we go back to MSG, we're already up 1-0. And so we won in spite of Brunson's poor shooting in the first half, and that's not a stab at him. He was incredibly impactful, especially in the fourth quarter, but his scoring and his efficiency in the first half was rough. And so I want us to look real quick at the comparison between the Cavs series and this series, because to me, it's crazy how similar it was, because the Knicks, even being down, in past seasons, we would see a deflated team step on the court at certain times last season. Even earlier in the season this year, where they were down and you were like, come on, where's the heart? You guys can still fight into this. It's only 15 points. But to them, it seemed like 30, the way that they had their, attitudes and their body language and everything like that. But in both series, they had championship level composure. They came out down 11, down this, down that. But to them, they came in like it did not matter that they were down. they still played, with all the determination and all the heart that we love. Just like the Cavs in game one, they started off strong and then they folded. Their main player, Donovan Mitchell, got locked down in the second half of that Cavs series, and it led to us winning. If you look what happened with Victor also was locked down for being the alien. We were able to stop him and he folded. And so a huge talking point was the mental toughness that we have to talk about this team. This team staring at a possible loss in game one on the road, they stared it in the eyes and they played with heart. If you guys saw that Walt Clyde Frazier video that the Knicks released, where it was mad emotionally moving, where he's talking about everybody is dressed in orange and blue, but it's mostly the look in the eyes that you got to look at. That's what we saw in yesterday's game. It did not matter the point deficit. They never lost that eye of the tiger that we want to see from them. And so the Knicks have a way of breaking down teams mentally in the playoffs right now. You saw how we broke down the 76ers. You saw in there the way that they were acting, the way that they were playing. You saw the defeat in them. You started hearing players like Kelly Oubre Jr. prideful to then humble, throughout the series, realizing they're not what they thought they were against the Knicks. Same thing happened in game one, where you saw Jared Allen on the bench looking like someone stole his candy. Boy was deflated and defeated. And you're starting to now see that the Knicks can do this with the Spurs. And so this to me was even more impressive because it was on the road. It's the NBA Finals. And the Knicks committed 0 fourth quarter turnovers. That is crazy. In a game that was so competitive and back and forth on an 11-0 run, we had 0 turnovers. So I want to talk about some of those things, but we're going to go into each player as well. But before I do, I'm going to let each person come up that's in our chat right now, because we have a lot of people that are actually in back right now that want to give a take on the Russ thing and if they feel like that was the factor moving forward. But before I do, I want to give a huge thank you right here to JC NYC78 for the generous $5 super chat. He said, I sense a win game 2. New York dominates the fourth quarter. The Splurts and Wembanyama will go down 2 games, possibly win game 3. We close out in Texas. Hey, I agree. I believe that the harder game for us to win would have been game 1, and we did that with a poor first half. So I do believe that we can go out there now, especially when we see the determination in the guys' eyes. So thank you so much for that generous super chat. Shout out right here, Space Ghost. Shout out to the KOT family. Yes, shout out to everybody. Shout out to my girl Nixonish being in the building. Appreciate you so much. All right, so let's talk about this Rust real quick, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So I'll go first with my guy because he was here first, Mr. Joe from AC. What up, Joe?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Yo,
Thanks for having me on, man.
What's good, bro?
Man.
What's going on? Yeah, man, I mean, what a game, man. I was loving that game. In the beginning when we were down 15 points, it was just another one of them times where I never wavered. I'm just like, we're coming back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's nice to see the guys pull that out, just to not waver and to actually, keep 10 toes down and keep fighting. Because that's what Knicks basketball is, man. It's just about keep fighting. That's what we've been about for a long time. So
the topic we've been talking about is, do you believe that first half was the rust factor? And is it completely out of our system? Are we ready to pretty much just take these next games? For me, I feel like it was rust. We kind of bounced around a little bit. What do you think attributed to that first half struggle?
Well, to be honest, man, I didn't see every player have rust, but there were certain players that I thought were a little rusty and could have played a little better in the beginning of the game, but then picked it up later on. Landry Shamet was one of them. I felt like off the very rip of the game, I didn't really like his defense that he was bringing. But later on, towards the end of the game, he completely flipped the script on that and he was playing awesome defense. He was hitting big shots. And I didn't like that play where he bumped that dude into JB. I thought that was a little lackadaisical. I thought, he should have been a little bit more aware not to bump a player into your star player's knees, So,
yeah.
But Landry Shamet, man, he, salute to him. I like the way he bounced back. He had some big shots. But OG, man, I thought OG was going to be a little bit more of a factor. I know OG did hit some big shots down the stretch, but I think we can still get a little bit more from OG. I think there is a little rust there, but 4 games in 23 days will do that to you. So
yeah, and so I'll say this. When I look at the stats and everything like that, just to confirm how I felt in the game, out of everybody that played in the first half, I feel like only 3 people had a strong first half. And I feel like OG's, even though it wasn't as dominant as you would want, his first half was actually better than a lot of other people's first half. And you also have to look at the fact that he came back in that last series towards the end of it after injury. And so to go from injury to then playing to then sitting again for however many, days waiting for the next series, I do believe that we'll still see more from him. I do believe even though he played well, I do think rust was a factor, but I don't think it was a factor to make you go, oh, come on, OG, because I still feel like he was, one of the few guys that was productive in that first half. But before we go into more topics, I'm going to throw it to the next person. Joe, stay up here. I'm going to put you down so we can keep bringing people up, but stay backstage, and each topic I'll bring you up to be able to share your thoughts.
All right, perfect, man. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to bring my guy right here, Mr. Toon in the building, walking around. What up?
Hey, what's happening? What's good, cuz? What's good, Joe? What's good, bro?
It's good.
How you doing?
Chilling.
My God, brother, man. Come on, man. Where you been at, man?
I'm alive, so.
Well, that's good because it'd be freaky as can be if you weren't and you just joined the chat somehow.
But I'm gonna be quick because I was in the middle, but I had to jump on real quick. So my take is obviously it was Russ at first. Cat really exposed how slow Wemby's feet are. And in order to keep this thing going, they're gonna have to keep going through Cat. But what Cat has to do, and what the whole team has to do, is they got to stop being afraid at going at Wemby. Yeah, he gonna block the shots. He's 7 foot tall, 7'4", and freaking 10 feet when he reaches his arms up. But they got to put a body in him. If they put a body in him and not be afraid of being blocked, they can put him in foul trouble, and it will mess up the whole game plan for them. And mainly Cat, like Cat really exposed them. For him being so athletic and so agile, he has a step slower than Cat, and he got to exploit that. He got to keep exploiting that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that because Cat had one of those games that you can't have an episode of Knicks content and not talk about what Cat was able to do last night because it was super impressive. So I appreciate you, bro. I know you were in the middle of something. If you decide you want to come back on at any point throughout the episode, we'll be up here a few hours. Just hit that join button and we'll bring you back up.
Oh, I'll be watching. It's always
all
love.
Right.
I'm going to holler at y'all.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
All right, cousin.
All right, so we got Sonny up in the building. Let's see what Sonny got to say. What up, Sonny?
Hello, y'all can hear me?
Got another cousin in here. What's going on?
What's the word? What's the word, guys? What's the word, Josh? I love
you.
I answer your phone.
I was in the chat. I'm like, why Sonny said that to Toon? Say you not no real Knicks fan.
Nah, I was playing with him. That's my cousin. Josh, my cousin too. I was playing. Nah, word too though. It was a good win. I honestly want to say, kind of leech off of what my cousin said. Cat is going to be the X factor, and Cat also exposed how Wemby cannot keep up with nobody. Embiid was a better. Well, Embiid used to take Cat to the post. Embiid had a post game, and I was more scared of that because Cat had 3 fouls out the game, out off the rip. Wemby does not pose that because Wemby want to dribble. Wemby want to stay at the high post. Wemby don't got that post game yet, and that's why I'm telling you, Cat is going to expose him all series. And if he do it again, it's going to be a sweep. Cat is really what's going to happen. Cat got it. I'm telling you, Cat going to expose Wemby every time. And in the coaching can't realize that. The coaching, you need to trap Cat at this point. You know what I'm saying? You can't have Wemby just guarding him at the top by himself. He's going to get blown past or something on the rim's going to open up. So you can't do that. So it's coaching too. They got a first-year coach. He don't know what he's doing yet.
You know what I love? I love hearing it's coaching, because there's so many people when Mike Brown came in, and I'm gonna eventually in the offseason go back to mine and Apollo's first few episodes to pull the receipts. When I was talking about how I thought Mike Brown could get us to the next spot, they had nothing but hate on my name, talking how I knew nothing about basketball. Mike Brown never could do nothing. He never will do nothing. He's a poser coach, this, that, whatever. And who's been the most impressive coach all playoffs?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. Mike Brown. The only team on a win streak has been the Knicks. And there's been more than enough adjustments. And it was after that, first rough start against the Hawks that Mike Brown said, we got some things we're going to work on and change up. And people were like, yeah, right, we're done. And all of a sudden, every adjustment he made has us on a 12-game win streak. So
that's right.
Shout out to Mike Brown. No disrespect to Tibbs. He did well. But to think that we would be in this position right now if Tibbs was back for another year is madness. Absolute madness. Because if you look at how many players off the bench helped us win some of these games. There were games where we needed Alvarado. There were games that it was Landry Shamet that helped us win. There were games that, all these players that would have not seen minutes when it comes to Tibbs playing them would have never been able to contribute to the wins that we got. So we would have been bounced. So shout out to Mike Brown and shout out to you, Sonny. Like I told your other cousin, feel free to stay in the backstage. And if there's a certain topic, we'll just bring you up for each one. If you got something to share it. If not, we'll bring you back down.
We got to say one more thing before I get out of this. One more thing. Shane Penny going off for 15. Didn't that look like what PG went off for 15 and we ain't hear from him the second half? That is by design. That is not because he just went cold. That is because we cut him off. And we stopped the well and we stopped their motion. They do not have a second scorer. I'm not going to take no more of your time. But thank you, guys. I'm going to be in the backstage.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
So shout out to my big bro in the building. Salute. Shout out to my guy, Prezi. I love it. Every time he says it. Mike Kerr Popovich, baby. I love it. All right. I'm going to disagree with this take. I think it's more the players' performance than the coaching. I don't agree with that. Why? Because it's the same players that were having the struggles earlier. And it was when Mikal Bridges started saying we needed to be coached. We needed to buy in. When, the players started going, Mike Brown's system. Cat went from, I don't know my role, to all of a sudden them saying that they were buying into the system, and Cat now, giving post games where he's giving Mike Brown praise. So you can't say that it's the players and not give just as much credit to the coach, because the players would have still been playing the way that they were playing early in the season, because they all came from different places, different ways of playing basketball. And so the chemistry needed to be there under one way of playing basketball. So
I have an example specifically from yesterday on how coaching is part of the reason, or a big part of the reason why we're having so much success. I was listening to Josh Hart, I think it was in his post game. He mentioned something like when Wemby's on you and Mitch is in the game, or whoever's in the game, if it's not Mitch, it's Cat or whatever. If Wemby's guarding you, he said, just get the shot up, no matter what. Just get the shot up, because they have nobody down there rebounding. You get the shot up, and Josh Hart is grabbing that offensive board if it's missing, or Cat is grabbing it, or Mitchell Robinson is grabbing that rebound. The Knicks went 2 for 16 against the Wemby defended baskets, which is horrible. But they got offensive rebound after offensive rebound on those 2 for 16 shots, and they got 10 extra points off of offensive rebounds on those misses. So they essentially scored 14 points and they went 7 for 16, which is respectable against a guy that really alters your shot and really should be having you shooting like in the low 20s or something like that. So that's all by design. Like the players didn't just come up with that. That's the coaching staff telling them, yo, if he's there, get it, and you got a decent look, get it up, and we're crashing boards.
Yep. And another last point before I bring my girl Nixon-ish up, to talk about her thoughts of the rest, start to the game, what she thought contributed to that, and then we'll move on to the next topic. I want to do two things. First, another point of what Al was saying. If it has nothing to do with the coach, how do you give like recognition to the change of how certain players are playing? Like you look at Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
He's playing different than he's played in 14 other seasons before?
Yep.
What's the difference? It's the coach. It's the way that they run the system. It's how he has to play in the structure of what works for the Knicks and this New York Knicks lineup. A coach can have a million good pieces, but if he doesn't utilize them for their strong suits and bring out new things for them, then they're not going to be the players that are going to make the impact. But you have guys changing like Cat. You got Jalen that's adjusting. You saw a 14 assist game in the playoffs from Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
There was probably series last year where Jalen Brunson didn't total 14 assists within the series. So you got to see the changes from players and give the coach their props and him being able to see when it's time to plug and play certain players, which we're going to talk about because certain plug and play players that are bought into the system made the difference for last night's game. But we'll talk about that in a sec. I'm going to bring my girl Nick finish up.
And the players are performing too. Like we're not saying that they're not performing. They absolutely are. But don't down talk the coaching, man. Coaching is doing a hell of a job right now.
Facts. You can't have one without the other. So I'm gonna bring my girl Nick finish up. What up?
Hey y'all.
What up?
I know you feeling good after a finals first game win.
I mean, I wanted game one. I said game one was important to us. I felt like kind of the same way I felt against the Cavs, take their soul early on.
Mm-hmm.
People talk so badly about, the Knicks are such underdogs. They've never seen a team like the Spurs team. They've never played this, against this type of defense. And so I think we needed to, send a statement. And I think we did. The crazy part to me is that was the worst Knicks team they're going to see this series.
Facts.
And we won. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Knicks figured it out. I agree with y'all. Coaching was great. I was a big skeptic of Mike Brown. I wanted him fired before halfway through the season. But he's made such great adjustments. And even just in last night, Champagne's going off on us. What does he do? Switch OG onto him. What happens? Crickets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it was so smart. And then, once I saw the Spurs guarding position for position, I knew they were cooked. Because, to be honest, I didn't know that Cat was going to defend that well because he played great defense yesterday.
Right.
Yep.
But Wemby can't guard him.
Yep.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? When I look at them two, I look at Wemby is what Wemby wants to be what Cat already is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wemby wants to be that big man that can shoot the three and take it into the basket and score in the paint. The only issue is that Wemby doesn't really have an inside game other than dunking,
Yep.
right? So he could shoot the three and not even at a good percentage. So he wants to be what Cat already is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not, to me, as fast as Cat. His dribbling is not as solid as Cat's. His dribble is so high that our undersized team is having a feast and making him turn the ball over.
Yep.
So it was great to see. I feel a lot more confident now that I know, one, the rust is over. Two, that we came out with a win when we probably should have lost, based off of how we played quarters 1 through 3. So I feel a lot more confident. To be honest, the skeptics can say what they want, but realistically, San Antonio doesn't have an answer for our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6, 7, or maybe even 8 and 9.
No.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. All right. So, Miss Nixon-ish, we're going to go into our next topic. If you stayed below and you want to come on, just give us a thumbs up. We bring you right up. But, all right, let's go into the next topic, gentlemen. Before we do, I want to give a shout out real quick. I didn't wear it today because it didn't match the fit, but I'm going to wear it next week. But I got sent this really dope hat to wear on the show. This like crazy wine color, like that. Yo, I'm like a crazy maroon and purplish kind of guy. And so this is like the perfect blend of a maroonish and purple hat. So shout out right there. I put the link to their eBay store. They are seriously just good people. Adsman collects, and they got a whole bunch of stuff. They got some Knicks gear on there. They got a few other Knicks hats. They got, a bunch of Nikes and stuff like that. Just cool people, talking to them and them wanting to support. I appreciate the love and support that they sent, knowing that I am a Knicks hat addict. And so having one show up and I didn't pay for it makes it a little easier when the wife opens the door and there's a hat package on the doorstep. Makes me not die. So appreciate that. Shout out to my guy Nick Yak in the building. Appreciate you being here.
Nick Yak, good.
Let's open up the first pour just so we have something in the glass while we talk about this next segment, and then we'll do the pour notes after the segment. So we're gonna go with the first one, which is just the Tennessee whiskey, the bottled in bond.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a straight bonded Tennessee. All right. Looks like it's about 100 proof. Yep. It's all good. 100 proof. All right. Let's see. All right. So once again, this is Old Dominic. The recipe is 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. So I'm excited to try this one as we talk about this next topic. But yo, Prizzy, 365 hats. I would love to, bro. I would love to wear one a year and like have a pair of kicks to go with it. But my wife would also make me sleep in the car if that was the case. So
if you had a car after spending that much money.
Yeah, right. But if people on the show want me to have 365 hats, drop those super chats. You know what I mean? Drop those super chats. My wife just walked in and said, "Absolutely not." She's watching the show. All right, here's the first pour, babe. All right, so my wife is in the chat. She's gonna be joining us with the pours in the other room. So she's gonna open up. She said, "Absolutely not." I forgot I told her to come get the pours. And so she opened the door when I'm talking about 365 hats. Y'all getting me in trouble, chat. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to my guy, Lee Escobedo. He's mad encouraging. He sent a chat in our KOT family. He said, "This is already my favorite Knicks Nightcap episode ever. Phil came out cooking. Appreciate you loving and supporting everything that's going on." 18,250 and hats ain't that bad. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so guys, next segment I want to talk about. After that incredible win, after everything we saw, I want to go straight into my standout performance of the night, which I think you guys have to agree, and that's Karl Anthony Towns. If you guys have a different one, raise your hand, let me know, and I won't put y'all in the same category as what I thought. But one thing that Al said he wants to talk about is if Cat continues to play like this, will he be Finals MVP? And I'm gonna let us all go around with that. But just
that was Apollo. That was Apollo.
That was Apollo's take. Yeah, even better, Apollo. All right, so if that's the case, let's look at how we started it. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. Incredible numbers. He was a beast on both ends of the court. He went from early in the season from being a defensive liability to being better than Chet Holmgren at defending Wemby, which makes you go, wow, was he robbed of a defensive award? Makes sense because of the earlier half of the season. But if he would have played like this all through the season, he would definitely have to be there. Okay. So this is a key factor, and then we're going to bounce it around. Wemby for the night went 6 for 21 with 6 turnovers. But the stat I want to point out, is when he was guarded by Cat, he was 2 of 14. 2 of 14 with
That's called being in jail.
Who the freak on this panel or anyone in the chat, if you're not a complete liar, would have thought that we would have been saying those numbers for Cat's defense week 10 of the season? None of us.
That is the biggest plot twist of the finals. I know Drake just came out with his album and he got plot twists on there, but this is way bigger than that.
Favorite song on the album, by the way.
The biggest plot twist was Cat shutting down Wemby and cooking him. That was I did not see that coming.
It was absolutely nuts that he was able to do that. Like, I want to show these 2 clips and then I'm going to throw it to Apollo because it was his topic. I thought this was hilarious. This was actually one of my now run that backs, but it's perfect for the topic. Wemby and Cat playing defense on him. All right. But then this, besides his numbers.
Oh, I love this.
This is what we should consider all-star.
Offense catches up. We got to keep playing defense this way. We're at 34% for them. We got to keep playing defense this way. This will win us the game. Our offense will always catch up. It did in game 1 in Cleveland. We'll be fine.
Yo, you want to talk about bars from from Karl Anthony Towns, a player that would have to sit for more than half the season because of his fouling on offense and defense, is now sitting his team down and saying, the offense is going to come. We know that, guys. Let's keep playing defense this way, and we got this. Like, that's insane. Mind-blowing. One of my favorite moments of the season was watching that interview. So thank you to the NBA, Knicks, or whoever had that camera in that huddle, because that to me is probably my top 3 moments of the season. So Apollo, what are your thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns' performance and this crazy U-turn we've seen of him as a player?
I mean, I tweeted out, I think maybe it was like 6 minutes into the game. I just tweeted out, Karl Anthony Towns going to be Finals MVP. It's just a feeling I had because we were worried about who was going to guard Cat, who was going to guard Josh Hart. I thought that Josh Hart was going to be primarily guarded by Wemby, and Wemby decided to. I guess Coach Mitch Johnson decided that he was going to put Wemby on Cat, and Cat immediately took advantage of it. You know what I mean? There's a few plays at the top of the key where he takes Wemby off the dribble and he's at the basket. He's in the paint already, and Wemby's like a step or 2 behind him. You know what I mean? And it just shows the foot speed that he has. It opens up everything for the team because you have to respect Cat's shot. You can't roam the paint. That's the one thing I was worried about. Brunson gets a lot of his baskets around the midcourt area. So it was good to see with Cat playing the way he was playing. He only took 2 threes and missed both of them. But as dominant as he can be behind the arc, you have to respect it. It doesn't matter if he made a shot or not. So Wemby having to close up on him. And the crazy thing is Wemby is a lot of the times he's at literally over the 3-point line trying to guard Cat. And I'm like, you have to take advantage of that because this dude is outside of the paint. If he's gonna continue to guard him like that, it can get even more deadly with guys cutting off the ball, backdoor cuts without Wemby being able to protect the basket. I think you just have to continue to go through Cat. So personally, if Cat continues to play this way, there's no way that he's not going to be Finals MVP because of how he's affecting the game on both sides. You look at, like you said, on the defensive end, he only made 2 shots on Cat. I honestly, I'm watching this game and I'm like, who is this guy? Is this the same guy that we were talking about all year? I have been one who, listen, man, I'm gonna be honest. I've said it multiple times throughout the year. Yeah, it's time to move on for Cat. It's time to move on from him. You know what I mean? And for him to hit that switch as well as he has, and to be that important. I remember the conversation he had with Shaq after the game and saying, you have to be better than what and Cat was, kind of defending himself and saying, like, we have to play as a team. But Shaq was on him like, if you're not playing at your best, you guys will not win. And I think the message got through to him, man, because he's been playing like a champion ever since that conversation. So salute to Cat.
Yep. And props to him because he's playing like a champion, but a different champion than he's ever been before. So not only did he like listen to those words, but he realized I'm not as effective doing this as I'm used to. What can I be just as impactful doing? So shout out to him. Real quick, I'm going to bring up my guy Debo. I'm going to let Al go, but I want Debo to know that we're bringing him up very shortly. So I see you in the back, Debo, the voice. Appreciate you. And then we're going to talk about the sip and have Knicks and Ish also talk about Cat. But what are your thoughts, Al, from what we're seeing from Karl-Anthony Towns right now?
It's incredible, man. I did not think he had this in him. I was one of those people that didn't think he was a championship caliber player just because of the way last year ended, where they looked so disconnected on defense, and a lot of that was attributed to Cat and him seemingly just not executing the defense that was being, called out in the game plan. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know like how he switched on that switch, but I was watching this JB presser today, and Phil, can you put this up on the screen? I thought it was interesting what he said in this presser. And you know what? Actually, I won't play it, but what he said here at the end of this is like the chemistry that we have is still continuing to grow, and that allows us to play better. And that spoke volumes to me because they're still reaching a new level. Like they're still trying to. I don't even know if they're at their peak yet. Like, and fans are so reactive all the time. They want to trade people, the next day. They want to fire the coach, and those things like can be destructive to a team. Like having a new coach every year is not going to bode well for a team. Keep swapping players in and out. Like chemistry is very important when you're trying to win a championship. The teams that win championships are those teams that have been together multiple years for the most part, right? There's going to be, anomalies here and there, but for the most part, it's teams that stick together. And, props to Leon Rose for keeping them and letting the team stick together and continuing to grow and build. So I think what you're seeing from him is a product of their chemistry continuing to grow, and then also Cat buying into the coaching staff and what Mike Brown is preaching.
Did you play the video? I don't see it.
I didn't play it.
Yeah.
I just decided to read what he said at the end because I just thought it was interesting that they're saying that he was saying that their chemistry is still growing. Yeah, it's like, this chemistry. People think chemistry happens in like the first few months of the season or in training camp. Like, no, you have to go through some real heavy stuff together, and that helps you build chemistry. That Indiana loss last year, that helped them get to this point this year. All that stuff builds your chemistry.
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to you guys. Typically, it's later on at around the 9:30 mark, we see like numbers start to get, bigger and bigger. But right now we have over 162 of you guys right now rocking with us live. So we appreciate you guys so much. Some of you guys are on Twitter. Some of you guys are on YouTube. If you guys can, all head on over to that YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get those numbers up. We're on our road to 10K. But I'm going to bring up my guy, Debo the Voice. I want to hear his take on Karl-Anthony Towns. What up, Debo?
Debo, what's good, my boy?
Yo. What's good, Al? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my bad. I'm at work, so want to make sure. What's good, Al? What's good, boy? What's good, fellas, man? I appreciate y'all bringing me up, man.
Of course.
So what was the topic?
So we're talking about Karl-Anthony Towns, the way that he's playing right now, and can he be on the road to finals MVP with performances like this?
Oh, I'm definitely can. I think Town has been listening to the critics. He's been taking it with a grain of salt, and he's been applying what he's been learning over the season in terms of like dominating when he's supposed to, He's got to give Brunson his opportunities, of course, but there's moments where he's the best guy on the court. And he has to take advantage of that. And Wemby, like you said, think about Gil's Arena when Kenyon Martin was talking about Towns being slow. And I just want to see Kenyon Martin's face right now because he's way faster than Wemby. And it's embarrassing out there for Wemby trying to guard him, you know? And if Towns can continue to do that, they're going to have to switch it up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
You know what?
And who do you switch it up with? That's the thing. Who do you put on Towns other than Wemby?
Yeah.
They don't got
You know what's
nobody.
crazy?
There's no answer. There's no answer. He's the most
Exactly.
unguardable player on our team if you in that lineup.
Right.
You
So
want
if
to
he
hear
stays
what's
aggressive
crazy?
like this, go ahead.
The pendulum switch of where Cat was to where he is now. I was watching an interview with Skip Salas earlier today, where he is saying the problem with Victor compared to Towns is that Victor is a finesse player. He's not a physical player. And they're now calling Karl Anthony Towns the physical player, which
That's
early
wild.
he was just a finesse player. And so Skip, who's an OKC fan, was like, the reason the Knicks are going to be the winners is because what Chet Holmgren could not be for the OKC, which is someone that could shut down Karl Anthony Towns. In this series, Victor Wembanyama is the Chet Holmgren, and Cat is the alien. And so hearing,
That's a fact.
like people see the drastic change that we do, because so many times we would talk about the changes we see in our players, and people are like, Knicks fans are delusional, la da 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 da. But now you can't deny what Cat has become. You can't deny what Jalen Brunson has become. Does that mean I revoke my critiques of him in the beginning of the season? No, he looked like booty, but now all those critiques that we had, he took, and instead of crumbling, he became something. Julius Randle began to crumble with the weight of New York's critiques. Karl Anthony Towns took it on his shoulders and said, how do I become better? And that makes me give him all the props in the world.
That's a fact. And you got to also look at who Wemby went against the last two series. Against Minnesota, Rudy Gobert's not attacking him offensively.
No.
No, that's true.
Against OKC, Chet got scared to attack him.
Oh yeah, everything was a fade mini on him. It was crazy.
So the fact that he has somebody going at his neck that he has to play defense on, for one, he's gonna get tired. I don't care how young he is, he's already gonna get tired.
Yeah,
you can see it. The fatigue is gonna hit him. And one thing I do have to say, if they plan on him being their last 2-minute offense, bringing the ball up the court or dribbling on the 3-point line, it's a wrap. They better switch it up. They better figure it out, because he cannot be. They don't have a go-to guy to get a bucket in the last 2 minutes. To me personally, De'Aaron Fox is too slow.
They were saying Wemby doesn't have like a go-to move yet to go get a bucket. Like, how Kobe had the fadeaway, like, in the post, like Kareem had the hook shot. Like certain players, they just could go get you a bucket. He's not really there yet with that.
He tried to go. I see it at one point in the game. I think it's in the fourth quarter. He tried to go with the Timmy off the backboard fadeaway. I'm like, you don't got that yet. You don't got that. You don't got that yet. It hit off the rim and all that. I was like, oh man, that's nasty. Yeah.
The only time he did something was when he I thought it was an offensive foul when he ran through Cat's chest and he luckily made that layup.
That's a charge. That's a charge.
But it is what it is. Cat ate it well, and we still won the game. But yeah, man, I personally think we did this in 4 if we keep playing, because we're gonna have better. Game 2 is gonna be so much better for us.
Yep.
We'll see how
if they lose game 2, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap already. But anyway, all right, Debo, I'm gonna drop you down. Stay if you want to continue to come up. Just let us know, and we'll bring you up for each topic. We appreciate you. That was a great thing.
Debo.
No doubt.
That's my guy Debo from Miami Pro League, man. If y'all in the Miami area, I believe that's starting up soon. Follow my guy Debo on social media and follow Miami Pro League, man. They got a fire league. Is NBA sanctioned. Always have NBA players coming through, and this summer is going to be crazy. By the way, Josh Hart was in Miami Pro League, and Debo's the MC. Debo nicknamed him the Swiss Army knife, which I think is very fitting and a dope nickname for Josh Hart.
I love it. All right, guys, what are your thoughts on this pour? My wife said, I like this pour.
I do. I like it a lot.
It's good, right?
It's very nice. I've been liking these bottled and bonds that we've been tasting lately. They've all been really good. The Melwood was really good. Like all these bottled, and the one from Circle City was really good.
Yeah.
Like I never thought of myself as like a bib guy, but they're very nice. Like if you want to have like a nice calm pour that's not gonna blow out your taste buds or the palate, these are nice pours, man. This one is excellent, excellent. So let's talk about some of the notes in it.
Yeah. So, for me, off the bat, I get a little bit of honey, a little bit of caramel, some of the baking spice, and some of that like tobacco oak type vibe to it. So it's not like crazy, unique, complex flavors that you would get in like some of those crazy peerless finishes we've had. But it's the historic whiskey notes that you know and love, but just blended really well. Oh, my wife said brown sugar. I taste that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say. Like those
yeah.
those burnt brown sugars,
Yep.
definitely prevalent in the tasting notes. I didn't get. Would you say the tobacco? That's one note that I have a hard time picking up.
Yeah. So it's in there with the with the oakiness of it, the spice of it. Like it's not like
Oh,
burn or rye spice, but it's
I
kind of
definitely
towards
got
the
a.
end of it.
Okay, I definitely got a little spice on here too, but it's nice because it's not a heavy like that like spice feel that you get like when you sometimes have like a strong rye, but it's
Mhm.
there and it just helps accentuate the taste. Really nice.
Yeah.
Really
This
well
is a
done.
great point.
It's
Krista
a
said,
as
I would want this in latte form. That would be a really good coffee.
that's interesting. Yeah. So it's
Alright.
good. It has like is the typical caramel honey
Yep.
notes in there. I'm getting a slight like I'm thinking a plum kind of taste. It's like it's a fruit, but it's not like a heavy fruit. But it's I could definitely get like a slight tasting note of like plum in there. But I definitely get the caramel and a little bit of brown sugar, like she said as well, because it has a real sweet for 100 proof. It tastes really good, and it's a little bit sweeter than the ones that we've been tasting recently, like 120 proof, of course,
Yeah.
but not as much burn, but a nice balance of sweetness and like oak and honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
I
smell
get
the
a little
plum
bit of
in
fruit,
there.
more like
You
orange
smell the
peel.
plum, right? Yeah. Mhm.
I get like a little orange peel to it, but there is definitely some kind of fruit in there. My wife said I get the stone fruit. Can't put my finger on it.
I
All right,
smell the
that was a
plum.
great pour.
Yeah.
We'll ask old Dominic when they join us a little later. I'm gonna share this video real quick of Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm gonna have Miss Nixonish come up, give her take on Cat before we move to the next topic. She's the one who sent me this video, so I'm excited to watch it. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
I love it.
Who else is gonna guard that guy?
And that's the move you're talking about, like that he doesn't have. He does not have a move similar to what Cat can do off the ball. With the ball in hand. And the crazy thing that we were talking about is the roster, the way that they have it, is if he is thriving or we are worried about him, that frees up guys like Champagny or Castle or Vassal to be able to shoot. But when we figure him out, like we did in that second half, and we don't have any like help defense at all when it comes to Wemby, they don't have another player that can rise up and take over the game. Like that is where our strong suit is. Jalen Brunson can take over, or Cat can take over, or OG can take over. There's games where McHale can take over. We've seen Landry Shamet take over, So this is one of those things where I don't see another player on their team and go, oh, yeah, if Wemby can't put up 36, this guy will, No, because on one-on-one lock defense, if we're not sending help, which we realize we don't need help on Wemby with Cat right now, who's going to be open? Nobody. They can't get us off the dribble the way that we can. So I'll let Miss Nixonish talk. Then we're going to go to the next topic. I'll have Joe from AC come up and give his take. What up? All right. What are your thoughts on Cat and MVP status?
So thank you for playing that video. And the reason I sent it to you is because I wanted to show how easy it looked. It looked so easy for Cat to do that.
Yep.
And if he can continue that they have no chance against us. I mean, I already think they don't have a chance. I think, like I said, we took their soul in game one. But if he can continue that, it's over. Cat has become everything we needed him to be. I wasn't sure that he could throughout the season, but I guess it took some time and some coaching adjustments and some offensive game plan adjustments to now have the Cat that we see. When it comes to MVP talk, I think it's a co-MVP situation. I think, I don't think the league would not give it to Jalen regardless, but I think Cat deserves
That would
it
be good.
because Cat, especially in yesterday's game, like I said in the chat, he brought us back. He single-handedly brought us back.
Mhm.
And Jalen brought us home. And that's the great part of this team, y'all, is that, we're not so heavily dependent on one guy.
Yep.
We have literally not a 1 and 2. We have a 1A and a 1B. And those two can flip-flop at any point. Right? Because Cat could be 1A today and JB 1B today, and tomorrow it's the reverse. And the good part for us is that they don't have the ego to even care. They just want to win basketball games.
Yep.
And that's what I love about them. So I absolutely think it's a co-MVP situation with them.
Yeah,
That
that
would
makes
be dope.
sense. I think that would be amazing. I guess we'll see how the NBA, chooses it. At the end of the day, but to not put Cat in that possibility to me, if he continues this kind of performance, is madness to me.
Yep.
And honestly, at this point, if Cat does this, I think that his evolution of his game is the most impressive of the whole team. So I would not mind him getting this MVP. Jalen already having the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Like if it had to go to one person and Cat continues this performance, I would love to see it go to Cat because I feel like he adapted really well.
I will say though, I still got Cat for Finals MVP, but if Jalen wins us game after game after game, I don't think there's a way you don't give him Finals MVP. Just simply because if you looking at what Steph Curry did, as great as Steph Curry was for that team, Andre Iguodala still wins Final MVP for one of those series, mainly because of just the defense he was able to play. But that was mainly because Steph Curry didn't have a game where he took over. He had great moments and pockets of things that he did, but as we see, as you can look at back the numbers, they always said that his numbers in the finals weren't as high and as good as other series. But I think if Brunson wins you game after game, like he came in last night, 13 points in the fourth from just hitting big shot after big shot after getting beat up all game, they're going to give it to Brunson for sure.
Yeah, I think that that makes it what it is. The NBA is a highlight reel, at the end of the day. But me personally, I'm like, I will never take it away from Jalen Brunson being Captain Clutch. Like in games like yesterday, he's learned when to be Captain Clutch and when to figure out other ways to contribute, which was my gripe with him earlier in the season was like, you don't have it. You're not Captain Clutch right now. You're Captain Liability. Like, give the ball away. Like, he's knowing when to and when not to, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, if I look at a player who has played 4 quarters of impactful defense and offense, game in and game out, I'm going to value that over someone that was clutch in 4 quarters because we don't get to be in a position for him to be clutch if that guy wasn't consistent in those 4 quarters. If he wasn't the one stopping Wembanyama from being what Wemby's been every other series, So for me, I'm like, okay, I want to give it to the guy that has done it consistently night in and night out, 4 quarters, not the guy that brought us to the end, because at the end of the day, it's great if you're running a relay race and the guy who gets the final baton takes it home. But if he's already got a giant lead because of what the other guy did, to make up the numbers, you can't ignore the guy that gave him that baton, that guy's the reason we had that possibility to win the game. So that's my thought there. All right. I'm gonna bring you back down, Miss Nix, then I'm gonna bring you up again. Al's got one more thing to say. Al, what do you
I
think?
just wanted to say, like, one of the things that I've really enjoyed with watching Cat on this run, besides his play, has really been like all the things that he's saying, like all his leadership qualities that have shown. And I have put this up, Phil. So like he lately he's playing for something different, man. He's playing for respect, and you playing for respect, that's different than playing for anything else, man. So he has a different type of chip on his shoulder. Every time he's at a press game, like they asked him yesterday after the win, he's like, yo, it's 0-0. My mentality is that it's 0-0. The next game is the most important game. Yeah. Like his mentality, just like listening to him, I'm big on like the press conferences, like listening to what the players are saying, what's going through their head, how they're approaching every game, I think is important. And the way that he's been approaching things, all the things he's been saying has been awesome to see, like the growth as a player and all that kind of stuff. It's just been great. Just to like couple that with how good he's playing on the floor. It's like, man, this dude is the total package right now.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I want to talk about a different player right now, because I believe that there was a huge shift in this game when Mike Brown made this adjustment. And this adjustment happened in the second quarter when he brought in Jose Alvarado for 5 minutes. And I know we're talking about the big names, right now, and talking about Cat and JB. But a huge shift in this game came from Jose Alvarado. When we were having, a down spurt, Jose Alvarado came in, played 5 minutes, but had 7 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a steal in 5 minutes of basketball. That's insane. That's incredible numbers. But what it also did is, if you look at that first half, where Jalen Brunson was struggling was figuring out, how do I score? Like, some of his buckets were coming at a very costly rate to his body, to him trying to figure out what to do. It was not coming out easy. And you saw a drastic change in Jalen Brunson and the other guards' ways of approaching how to score against them after Jose Alvarado's minutes. Jose was fearless at driving up against Wemby, throwing it high off the glass where Wemby could not get it. Like, that was set as a tone by Jose Alvarado, nobody else. And everybody else saw how efficient it was that they emulated that. Jalen Brunson started taking, especially in the fourth quarter, many of those shots emulated the shots and the layups that Jose Alvarado took in that 5 minutes. Yeah. And so he made a huge, huge impact. But on top of that, he was also the guy that was going out there and stopping, everything that he was doing to walk up to players and to encourage them, getting off the bench, being their voice piece, being their cheerleader. That was him. Another moment, we're going to talk about this incident in a little bit, but there was an incident with Jalen Brunson, and I want to show this video because it was kind of a heated moment that happened, and we'll show that soon. But let's see who is the one that was being, once again, a leader for the New York Knicks. It was Jose Alvarado. So in this moment where, there's some tension going on, JB's a little frustrated, this is who we see come and act as, that guy. Mute it because I don't know. So there's drama going on. Here we come.
Yeah, this was when the fan was talking crap to Brunson.
And look, it's Jose Alvarado pulling him off, stepping in between, saying something to them. Then once JB's over here, where is it at? Jose comes back.
Yep.
Cooling him down. That is a leader. He is a leader on and off the court.
And that was the second time he did that too, because he was screaming at Scott Foster and he was separating him from Scott Foster too. Yep.
Exactly. And so that is him. And he is that guy. And so I know we have the nicknames. We got Brunson as the closer. Cat, is the mismatch in this season. I mean, in this series, OG is the stopper. McHale's the two-way. Josh Hart is the glue guy. Mitch, the blockness. Clarkson, Human Torch. Shamit, according to Al, is Big Baby Jesus. Big Baby Jordan. He's little Jordan. But Jose Alvarado is the jumper cables. Like, he is the jumper cables of this squad. When our car is dying and doesn't look like we're going to get to the next spot, Mike Brown puts him in, and he is that spark plug. Like, he is that morale booster. He is all those things. And so I love the fact first that Mike Brown acknowledges that and knows when to utilize that spark plug. That is huge. But also, I think one of the most underrated things about Alvarado is his acceptance of his role.
Yeah.
Like, he stays ready. He doesn't complain. And when he's on the floor, whether it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, those are impact minutes. His minutes are never wasted minutes. And that's what I love about Jose Alvarado. So I'll go to you, Apollo. I see you have something to say.
No, I just wanted to throw that the little tidbit in there is that Josh says it all the time. You got to be a servant. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what you're seeing out of Jose. You're seeing out of Josh. Well, I'm sure we'll get to Josh and the amazing game that he had with only 3 points. But just being a servant, doing the things that other guys aren't really willing to do on a night-to-night basis. Just being there for your teammates is more than just, oh, he had this amount of points and looking at the stat sheet. These guys showed up, like Jose Alvarado, 2 big shots in the paint with Wemby in the game. You know what I mean? Like, these are. And one of those threes he took, it was the shot clock winding down. It almost went down. If that would have went down over Wemby, that would have been another one for him. But, just being a servant and then just being there for the team in time of need, for sure.
Yeah. I want to go back to Cat because I think this is a great, quote right here by Nick Yak. He said, I didn't see a center play defense better than Cat yesterday all year long. And I agree. Like, that was a stellar defensive performance. All right, Al, what are your thoughts on Jose Alvarado before we bring up our whiskey guest and go into a pour with him and then talk more Knicks?
Look, I thought Alvarado gave us an amazing lift off the bench. He was a lightning bolt off the bench. When Brunson went down, I thought he gave us really, really good minutes and steadied the ship. So look, it's what he's been giving us, right? Since we turned to him in that Atlanta series, right? Yeah. He's been steady in his performance, and I actually thought he was gonna have a rough series because these guys are these guards are pretty big and strong. Yeah. But man, he came in, he's fearless, bro. Like, he doesn't care who you are. Comes in with that New York attitude, and he's ready to bring this home, man. He's ready to bring this home. I think he saw. What is it? Leaning? I don't know how you say that gave Stephen Curry that $1 billion shoe deal, and he's looking at and one, and he's like, "Yo, what's good? Like, throw me some change too. Like, I deserve some money too. Like, so he got the battery in his back right now. When he comes in, he's making things shake. I love it, man. You always need your backup point guard to be that change of pace. When he comes in the game, he just starts making things happen. If you play fast, the defense doesn't get set, and things happen. Things open up. So he's executing his role at the highest level right now. He's playing excellent for us.
Yes.
He reminded me a lot of what Sean Livingston did for Golden State.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Ra for this comment. Jose is the energy of the team. I heard he drinks Red Bull from a sippy cup at the half.
Oh my God. Yo, Ra is crazy, man.
I love it.
Shout out to you, Ra.
Shout out to the over 170 of you that are here right now. If you guys can, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate all the love and support that you guys show us. Let's continue to, get people in here, chop it up about the Knicks, find out a little bit about this brand that we are sipping on today, Old Dominic. We had the bottle and bond to open up the show, which was absolutely delicious. And then we got a few more in the arsenal that we'll be going through. And so without further ado, I want to bring up someone from the Old Dominic team. His name is Clark. Him and I have been talking. We were trying to figure out dates. It seems from his emails that he's not a LeBron fan, which makes me happy because either am I. So when it was like, yo, it was during the time where LeBron had like mad things to say about Memphis and was talking mad smack about Memphis. He's like, man, I want to come on and defend Memphis. So I don't know if he's a Memphis fan or if he's from Memphis, but we're gonna get to know a little bit about Clark right now. So without further ado, like I said, this brand is called Old Dominic, which is a really dope logo. I'm a sucker for good logos. Some whiskey brands just have like a regular little just like text, and I'm like, come on, be a little more creative. But I love this logo, and I'm excited to taste more of these pours because, as us three and my wife in the chat said, the first pour was absolutely delicious with that bottle and bond. So without further ado, I want to bring up Clark from Old Dominic. What up?
What's up? How we doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm good. Y'all riding high off that win. I can tell. I can feel the energy. I love it. I love it.
So obviously, whether you're an NBA fan or not, everyone seems to know what's happening with the New York Knicks right now. So first tell us, like, what kind of, basketball appreciation or lack of appreciation does Clark have, and where did his affinity for whiskey come from?
Well, cool. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I got a funny little story to speak to my ball knowledge. I don't have ball knowledge like y'all, but I know ball. Okay, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. We get it. All right, we got the Grizz here, which we're all diehard Grizz. We got the Memphis Tigers, our college team. I mean, Memphis is a basketball culture. You can't grow up here like I did, born and raised, without it being in your blood. So we love that. Okay. But for me, I'm gonna get into some Grizz stuff later. I heard y'all talking about my used to be hated arch nemesis Alvarado, but now I'm gonna get to him in a second. I got a vibe with him a little bit, but it's funny enough. So and we'll get into the brand, but real quick, I was in New York about 3 weeks ago. Working the market for Old Dominic, and I walked over to the Garden, and I think it was game 4. It was a game that y'all came back against the Hawks, like that epic comeback, right?
Yeah.
And I just so happened to be walking by the Garden, and they had this outdoor watch party thing.
Oh, you walked into that?
And I was chilling, I was by myself. I was there for work. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to grab dinner. I walk in, I'm like, what is this? And so instantly I'm posted up. I'm watching, I'm hanging. I made like 100 friends. I'm like,
oh my God.
I didn't have any Knicks gear, and I'm not a Knicks guy per se because I'm a Western Conference guy. But immediately I'm like, I'm hooked. I'm riding the high. And that's 12 games in a row, right? Is that 12 games?
Yeah.
So I've been on the bandwagon, like just hot.
Yes.
What a time. What a time to be alive.
Now I know all the guys. I got my favorite players.
Man, this is awesome.
Here, it's just great. So
I love it. Hey,
it just so happened that we were talking about this before that, right, Phil?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, they're gonna love this. So I'm fully on the train. Fully on.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
We got space for you on the bandwagon.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
We do. And it's been a rough few years for you as a Grizzly fan. Buying into Ja Morant, thinking he's going to be the future of the NBA, and just everything that's happened there. So, you deserve one. You deserve a weight off your shoulder. So come on over. New York is welcoming. Get a slice of pizza and put on some Knicks gear, and we're good. There's converts are welcome. Welcome.
Why do you think we drink so much bourbon here in Memphis with the Grizzlies being so bad?
That's hilarious. All right, so tell me, Clark, what's your role with the brand? How long you been with them? Give us a little background on Old Dominic.
Yeah. So, cheers to everybody that's hanging out with us tonight. I've been working for the company since kind of day one. I think I was the second or third employee. We debate on that, but I'm still here. So somehow they kept me around. But currently I'm the director of sales. So, I do all the outbound sales and work with the marketing team and, do all sorts of fun stuff. But the brand itself has been rooted here in Memphis, Tennessee, which all the way back to Prohibition, and frankly. So my current ownership group, they are the 5th generation owners of this whiskey brand, which is cool. And so we brought it back to life, so to speak, resurrected it about 2016, 2017. And we've got a beautiful state-of-the-art facility downtown Memphis, where we make all of our spirits, especially the ones we're going to try, at our place, which is really cool. Nothing against source brands and all that stuff these days. You can find some phenomenal source whiskey, but we're proud to say, we lay it all down ourselves. We take the time to do it. It's expensive to do it the right way, but I think what we'll taste through tonight, y'all are going to see the proof, the proof, pun intended, is in the pudding, right? So, but we've developed a great brand over the years, stubbed our toe a bunch. It's a hard business to be in, but we've got phenomenal Tennessee whiskey, which I'll talk to you all about. We've also got bourbon. We've got a killer lineup of single barrels, some blended stuff. We've got a ton of finished product, so we're really kind of now flexing our muscle a little bit now that we have, 7, 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old distillate to play with. Whereas early on, the younger juice didn't quite shine. So we had to do some other stuff to it. But as you know, kind of the story arc on a lot of craft distilleries these days, once they hit that 7, 8, 9-year mark, that's when they really kind of come into form. Yeah. So we're happy to be kind of on that trajectory right now. But yeah, I have a lot of fun in this. My favorite thing to do is make friends. That's kind of what we call it. Making friends is our business, kind of at the heart of what we do. Usually around a glass of bourbon or a glass of whiskey, but hey, that's what this industry is about. And we have a good time doing it. So, but yeah, that's short story on me. What are y'all sipping on right now?
So we started with the bottled and bond.
Okay, wonderful. Great.
And that was delicious. That was so good. We were talking about the notes that we got off of it, and finding a little bit of that fruit in there, but the classics that you love in whiskey, the caramels, the honeys, the tobacco and oak. Is just a great bottled and bond. And so we love that one. And my wife's in the room next to me, and she's coming in and grabbing pours while she watches so that she could taste each and every one with us. And she loved that one as well, which is, if my wife approves, then the bottle stays here. So if it doesn't, then it gets moved to, where my other whiskeys are stored. So, what would you say?
I've been doing this a while, and I like to say that the ladies have a very discerning palate. So I think they have a better palate than the boys. So she must know what she's talking about.
So what would you say we should go into next out of the other three that we have here?
Remind me what you'll have. I think you have a wheat single barrel.
We have a wheat single. Single. The cask strength.
And a toddy.
And toddy.
We're going to end with the toddy. We got to save that. That's fourth quarter right there.
Okay.
So I'd say we jump into the other quarter. I'd say we jump into the wheated whiskey single barrel. I sent you guys. I've actually got a pour of it right here. Okay. And we can get into that and talk about that. That's a fun one too.
So the single barrel?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. My wife took the other bottle. The wheated?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So the wheated whiskey that we make, I always kind of like to back up a little bit, right? I'm sure most of your audience, and certainly y'all, everybody loves the wheated bourbon, right? That's such a craze. Everybody's chasing that, certainly from Sazerac and all those expressions that they do. A lot of people think, oh, I love a wheater. I'm like, yeah. Well, this is a wheated whiskey, right? This is 83% wheat, which is one of, if not the highest wheat contents out there on the market, right? A lot of people, they don't even realize some of those Sazerac products are 30, 40% wheat, not even, right? So we're talking about 83% wheat. So that's going to give you some serious grassy, herbal kind of, almost akin to like a Scotch, almost a single malt Scotch element, which I really love. Especially coming off that bottle and bond that y'all tasted, which had a little bit, probably some sugar notes to it. Not a whole lot. Yeah. But this is absolutely kind of a complete departure from that kind of Tennessee whiskey style. This is definitely unique and different. And, what's funny, a lot of distilleries of our size don't particularly like to work with a high wheated mash bill. It's a little bit more labor intensive. Many distilleries need a dryer or, to malt the grain. So It's a little bit more of an expensive mash bill to make, which is why you don't see a ton of, craft distilleries, which I hate that term, but, smaller distilleries doing it. But we do it. We've been laying this particular mash bill down for 7 years. So it was actually our third mash bill to make. So I think we've been working on it pretty well. One thing that's very unique and cool, and certainly, everybody on listening in tonight, you can only find that particular product through a single barrel pick. So either, your local store or a bourbon club, we don't do a ton of that, right? So that is fun. We don't have a shelfer version, like an everyday shelfer of that. Okay. So it is unique in the fact that, you got to kind of hunt those down, right? And people really chase them. And of course, it's cash strength. So Phil, I don't know. You have the bottle in front of you. If you could tell me the proof.
So this proof is 120.12, and it's 7 years.
So yeah, and everything, like I said, cash strength. I think they drink the best at 118, 120-ish mark. Anything higher, and I'm a proof guy, but anything higher, you're going to lose, that nuance, kind of those herbal grassy tones that I was kind of explaining earlier. So I'll let y'all take a sip and let's see what we think.
All right. Yeah, here we go. It smells delicious already.
Mm-hmm.
Very soft too, Good summertime whiskey for me.
That does not drink at its proof. That's the initial first thought is it drinks a lot lighter and smoother than what you would think of 120.
Still got a little bit of corn, a little bit of rye to kind of soften it, round it out a little bit. But yeah, man, people love these. They chase to give you an idea of scale. We do about 70 single barrel picks of this a year. Okay. And we're in about 20-ish states. So not a whole lot, you're not going to find it, unless you are in a club or you have a store who's really, really up to speed on what's out there and how to get it too. So
it's awesome.
I get
a lot of New Yorkers hear him say, like, in a club. We're not talking about like
not that club.
It's a whiskey
club. Yeah. Although we can take this to the club if we want.
I'm getting a little bit of honey notes, but the main note that I'm getting here is kind of like a licorice, almost.
Yep.
It's really nice. I think some licorice is kind of polarizing. I don't know. Some people might hear and not and think that it's not good, but it comes off really nice in whiskey. I'm not a licorice guy. I won't reach for licorice, but this tastes really nice.
It's so I thought on the nose I was getting like a maple syrup kind of scent, but I'm getting more like a marshmallow, but like mixed with dark chocolate kind of taste. Like I'm getting a lot of like a dark chocolate note in there.
Yeah. So
that's actually really good.
So with me, I'm getting like, this is like a dessert pour, which a lot of wheateds can be, but it's not like a dessert pour like some dessert pours are like typically creme brulee, type of dessert pours. But this one I'm getting like milk chocolate, like let's say like a chocolate cookie with some like mint, like a mint chocolate chip type vibe to it. You get the mint notes in there. Yep. You get the chocolate, the milk chocolate notes in there. I also get like a little bit of like toasted almonds, a little bit of like honey butter. Like my favorite restaurants don't just have butter; they have like honey butter. I said honey butter, and my wife came into the door. She's like, "Pass it over." Here you go.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what I get. I get like honey butter, mint chocolate chip, on a fresh baked milk chocolate cookie. Like this is delicious. And it's crazy because like you get the mint that you would normally get from a rye.
That's what I was gonna say.
So I think that's exceptional.
I don't think I've gotten a mint note from a wheated before.
Yep.
All the weeders I've tried, that's typically not a note that's in there.
That is coming from that little rye,
Yeah.
content.
Okay.
But also that comes from, overwhelmingly through our lineup. We use a certain type of barrel and a certain type of char that is going to kind of impact that flavor a little bit. We use West Tennessee white oak, and that is, West Tennessee is kind of in our region, so it is specific to where we're located, and that gives almost all of our expressions a little bit of that. And then we use that number 4, alligator char, right, with it kind of just burns it in. It's kind of stylistically going to be found in many of our products.
So that char is in there. So that's why you got that toasty, marshmallowy kind of vibe, Apollo.
Yeah.
Good pickup on that. Good pickup.
Yeah.
That's really good. We go into the barrel at a relatively low entry proof. So we go in at 110 on this product. Okay. And so you're obviously seeing a spike in proof, but it's going to maintain a lot of the flavor and a lot of nuance, because we're not going in at, many distilleries will go in a little higher. They'll go in 130, right? You're going to get too much alcohol, right? And it's kind of it kind of drowns out some of the profiles you're trying to pull, So a low entry proof is kind of also indicative to some of our expressions. People really respond to that pretty well.
I love it.
I had a question real quick.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about the price points for the bottles yet. So what is the bonded typically cost, and what does this single barrel go for?
Yeah, it's a good question. So one thing we like to do is, we like to think we make whiskey the right way, and we make quality products, but we don't want to charge crazy pricing. Like, that's our motto, right? We want people to buy a bottle and not be afraid to open it and share it and drink it, because we want you to buy a second one, right? So the bottle, that is kind of our ethos from top to bottom. So the bottle and bond sits on most shelves, depending on where you're at, what part of the country, about $49.99 to $54.99. So right in that sweet spot, hey,
good price.
I'm not afraid to buy it and open it, because, it's not going to hurt the wallet too much. Our barrel picks typically land between $59.99 to $65.99. Same thing, right? For an 8. So this is a 7-year product, cash strength, for $65. That's a pretty damn good deal, right?
Yeah. So the typical deal that we normally, as like whiskey content creators, say, like an average not allocated like whiskey should be about $10 per year, of age. Sure. If it goes too past that, it's overpriced. So that's incredible. You guys are actually under that price point, and
sometimes way over oak, right? Yeah. A 12-year bourbon is cool to say, but sometimes it misses the mark a little bit, because it's
that's great.
I used to think, like, I used to just like kind of gravitate towards, the older the better, but that's not always true. Sometimes, like you said, it could be over oaky. It's not done right. So I kind of find, since I've joined the show, I've gotten rid of that
right. Or on the other end of the spectrum, people think the more expensive it is, the better. That's not always true.
Oh, that's definitely not always true. Yeah, that's definitely not always true.
So before we go into the next topic, as we talk Knicks with our newly recruited New York Knicks fan, Clark, down there, I do want to say, this is funny. Sometimes my wife, when I'm like making content, she'll like make fun of me. She'll be like, you don't even, like, let's be real. Are those notes really there? She'll kind of give me like a hard time. So she said, I needed to taste the mint. I flat out didn't believe you. Philip, it's there. Yes, it is there. So my wife is starting to believe that I actually know what I'm talking about a little bit. All right. So before we go into it, I want to give a shout out to my guy Tony on Knicks Twitter. He put a lot of work into creating this anthem of the different artists that are within the New York Knicks community, to kind of create this like hip hop cipher of New York Knicks fans, and created a song called I'm a New York Knicks fan. It was actually kind of a dumpster fire because he just wanted people to like create stuff And so people started just like taking out their phones, recording over the beat on like voice memo, sending it to him, or recording without the beat and sending it to him and being like, hey, put my verse on. And so we had like 18 people send stuff, and some of it, like, none of us knew if the beat made any sense to what they were rapping because we couldn't figure it out. So his original producer was like, listen, man, this is way too much time. I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm not really, going to put this much time into this. So Tony reached out to me. He's like, bro, it's a mountain of a thing to ask you to do. But if I can throw you some bread, is there any way you can see if you could do something with this? And I was like, I can try. Like, this is kind of a dumpster fire. But at the end of the day, I'm going to see if we can figure it out. So I'm going to play a portion of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like 8.5 minutes long or something like that, because there's a lot of us that, MC. I and Apollo were both, given the opportunity to be on the song. So shout out to my guy, Tony, for putting this all together. But I'll play a little bit of it up to the point where Apollo's verse comes out, and then we'll cut it. But this is the anthem for the playoffs.
T-O-N-Y, NYKX, Knicks Twitter.
La música de Harry Fry.
You could be a boss, you could be a rock star, maybe you a pimp, maybe you a mobster, maybe you a Mac. You could be a hitman, homie, it's a fact. I'm a New York Knicks fan. We them New York Knicks fans. I'm a New York Knicks fan. We some New York Knicks fans. I'm a New York Knicks fan. Got it. Run starting. This is New York. Kick your chest like a Spartan. Day one we all in. Always blue and orange. Knicks Twitter anthem, and you know who the star is. This is NYKX, and you already know we coming for the gold, man. I'm talking Larry O, Danos in New York like a space in here. Vibes back in the city like the Mason years. Hey, we them New York Knicks fans. Hey, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Hey, we some New York Knicks fans. I'm a New York Knicks fan.
Hey yo, since Ross Strickland, I've been a Knicks fan. Flow was like stalks when he switched hands. Ewing was the big man. Oak broke the smoke like a pith strand. Indeed, you couldn't withstand. Made you play in quicksand. 4-point play, had it rocking like the Big Bang. Now it's Mike Breen with a big bang. Garden Angels, we don't do the kilograms. Squads get ran out the garden by the Knicks fan.
They want to know how long I've been a Knicks fan. On the court, I still see Michael Ray Richardson. If you ain't heard my voice, that means it ain't over. 3 capital S's, it's the closer. Everybody around me, they dripping orange blue. We going viral on this track, that means 1 million views. Don't get mad at the squad, cause you ain't popping. We got that Twitter post game when you leave the garden.
Hey, we them New York Knicks fans. Hey, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Hey, we some New York Knicks fans. Hey, I'm a New York Knicks fan.
It's no surprise, I see blue and orange skies. We in a Della bag, cause we know our stakes is high. Our city never sleeps and our squad stays gritty. We've been dreaming of this moment, secret life of Walter Mitty. Welcome to the Knicks Nightcap. I say swishing and sipping. Raise a toast to our squad, cause we don't fear the competition. Snapping on the court like Thanos, and game is what matters. We've been waiting long enough, let's raise something in the rafters.
I've been here since Quintel Woods. I've been known why these wins felt good. Get your standards up. You're man enough to set a goal to say champ or bust and not raise a banner for a Phantom Cup. Damn, that's tough. Singly focused. Bringing the culture. Put my head in the film. I feel like Mia the Coaster. Call me old Nick, the devil's in the detail. Reggie Miller, I choke him out like Spreeware.
Beware, you could never rock the Knickerbockers. I promise, them lights too bright in the garden. Knicks fans travel, your 9-1 problems. We pull up on your second-rate arena, make it ours then. Disheartening, sorry for your sorrow. Survival of the fittest, and we come for all the marbles. Chip or bust, all yeah, it's us. Too monstrous the way that we ball in the clutch.
You could be a boss, you could be a rock star. Maybe you a pimp, maybe you a mobster, maybe you a Mac. You could be a hitman, homie, it's a fact. I'm a New York Knicks fan. Hey, we them New York Knicks fans. Hey, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Hey, we some New York Knicks fans. Hey, I'm a New York Knicks fan.
Real Knicks fan since 2004. Been through hard times, homie, that's for sure. Now it's 50-win seasons in the Gardens Eden. Breen and Clyde narrating while the crowd streaming. I guess the captain probably hit a shot. Now Mikal probably ran down, took the rock. You could catch a rip through from OG. Big Bodega fade away out the post middies.
Who but us? Tell me who do it better. Tim's jeans, Knicks fitted, new sweater, drop the Addy. 33rd, 27th, and 8th, no COVID. But we checking your energy at the gate. That's a fact. Go New York, go. Get it poppin'. Cause even after the banner raised, they ain't stopping what we do. All these other teams is see through. New York, only two things matter, orange and blue. Hollow.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So shout out to my guy, Tony. For having that idea and giving me the opportunity to put it together, and Apollo and I to be on that. That's the anthem. So if you're watching and you're having watch parties, hit me up. We can send that to you so that you guys can play it at your watch party. I just made the edited version for our watch party for tomorrow night. So looking forward to it. But let's go into the next topic, guys, as we enjoy the rest of this pour before going into the next one. I want to talk about OG Anunoby. Because I feel like OG is the kind of player that, with everything that's going on with Karl Anthony Towns and everything that's going on with Jalen Brunson, a performance like OG's can go unnoticed. And I don't want it to go unnoticed because it makes a huge difference. Like we said, Champagnie was destroying us. Like, he was destroying us until we switched and Mike Brown put OG on him. And then he completely contained him. That was a huge, drastic change for us and the trajectory of our game, because he went from shooting lights out in the first half. And if you look, even going into the first half, he was cocky as can be. He was 5 for 6. Going into the half after that last shot, banging his chest, going up to his teammates, ego on cloud like 9, like level 11 ego. And then OG comes in and in the second half detains him, and he goes 0 for 5 from the rest of the game. And those are things that we can't ignore, because if he would have gotten another 7 threes in that, second half, the game's different. The game's completely different. But OG made that huge impact. And we also can't forget, like, though his numbers weren't like historical offensively, he still put up 17 points, had a block, a steal, and 3 assists. And so for me, he is that difference maker, because OG and Cat can continue to be elite, but you still need someone like OG that you can bank on offensively and defensively. So what are your thoughts on OG Anunoby so far in that first game, Al?
Well, everyone's talking about how Jalen Brunson closed the game, but Jalen Brunson had 13 points in the fourth. OG Anunoby had 12 in the fourth quarter. He went off when one of those threes was in Wembanyama's face. Yeah. Like, he just straight up was like, whatever, I'm shooting this in your face, all net.
Yeah.
He was balling, bro. Like, and obviously everybody knows what he does on the defensive end. He shut down Champagnie, which dude is known to be a Knick killer at this point, man. Like, he dropped 11 threes on us during the regular season and was trending in a bad direction again in game 1 of the finals. So, man, where will we be without him and his performance last night, man? To score 12 points in the fourth quarter, that's huge. That's huge. We needed every last one of those points to help us get across the finish line. Brunson had 13. Between him and Brunson, they had 25 in the fourth, and the Knicks scored 29 points in the fourth quarter. So he basically carries the load with him. Like, dude is a beast, bro. Like you said, like, we have Cat, we have Jalen Brunson, and if they don't have it going, we really do have another. We have 2 other options. Like, we have OG Anunoby, who can still go off. And remember, OG Anunoby dropped 28 points on them in the cup game. So he's already comfortable against them. And then we also still have Mikal Bridges, who probably has a big game loading, because he also cooks the San Antonio Spurs. He dropped 41 on them on Christmas.
He's ready to go off.
Yeah. So we have we have players that are not afraid of San Antonio. So if one guy's not going, we can pivot easily. But yeah, OG had a great performance last night. Even though it looks like he didn't, he only had 17 points, but it's the context. He had 12 in the fourth in the moments that mattered the most when we needed him the most.
Exactly. Yeah. And so many people like even Miss Nixon-ish, I agree that Cat brought us home. I mean, Jalen brought us home, but he didn't do it by himself. OG was riding shotgun. And so I've made music my whole life. Before I started doing photography full time and before I got married, my job was I made music in my band and we toured full time. And one thing that never got enough credit, like as the singer, I got mad praise, mad accolades. Everyone knew who I was, and that can be a hindrance, for a singer at times. But what people miss all the time is you could name the singer, you could probably name the guitarist, but 9 times out of 10, unless you're Dave Grohl, people weren't knowing the drummer's name.
The drummer, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that band does not succeed without the drummer keeping everybody else on key, keeping everyone else in sync with one another. And I feel like OG is our drummer. And so many times we're looking at the lead singer and the guitar player. Even my guy Josiah, he was our guitar player. He was a drummer for a while, and like the people in our town knew who he was because like he was very active in the music community. But like when he became our guitar player, everybody knew who Josiah was. But when he was the drummer, not as many people knew who he was. So just switching his position in the band made him that much more, popular and famous. And so we got to realize that like we do not stay on pace. Like if there was not an OG in that second quarter that they still had to worry about, it would have been harder for Brunson because they could have double teamed him, like offensively, defensively. If we're not shutting players down and keeping Champagne at 0 for 5, the score's a lot closer and we're not getting, that 10-point lead at the end. Even if he makes 3 of those threes, the game is neck and neck again, So what are your thoughts, Apollo?
I mean, it's like you said, he had Al, he had 12 points in the fourth quarter. So he had a pretty quiet game up until then. He only ended up with 17 points to finish the game. So he only had 5 points through 3 quarters. He was relatively quiet. I think we were in the chat, and I think Fritz, it was Fritz, he was like, the only person that's not having a normal kind of game is OG. And it's like the moment he said that, it's like OG was like, okay, I hear you. And he heard him and went right at him. So it's, it's good to see that these guys are. One thing that I did notice with OG, not as much this season, but more last season and maybe towards the beginning of this season, is when he wasn't getting as many shots as everybody else, he would kind of like fall back. Like he would kind of feel like he wasn't part of what was going on. But he's learned how to affect the game in other ways without having the ball in his hands. Just a few times reaching in on Wemby as he's driving on Cat and creating that deflection. Just being there for just, making the job difficult. These guys, as much as people talk about seeing Wemby and even seeing Mitch in the paint and then being deterred and going the other way, the same thing happens when these guys see OG on the floor. These guys, they're willing to try certain things with the ball in their hands, but when they see OG, they're like, you know what, that's probably not a good move to make. And I've said all the time, without you having to make a move to affect what someone's doing, that makes you 10 times more reliable and valuable to your team because you don't actually have to do anything to stop what's going on. The guys in their own head will say, you know what, that guy's over there, I'm not going there. And, you're starting to see, especially in the crunch time moments, for him to have 12 points, like you mentioned, Al, that big 3 over Wemby was just, I think, was a huge turning point for himself as well, because he just started to light himself on fire. And I think once that happened, you started to see the energy of San Antonio get turned down a little bit. The arena got a little bit quieter, and then the Knicks chant started to get a little bit louder. So I think OG had a really, really big impact on that game, especially when it mattered. And we're going to need a lot more of that to finish this out.
Yeah. And one thing I think people miss is this is not the Knicks team of old, okay? So in that first half, yes, he had a quiet first half, but let's look at how many other shots were taken by all the other players in that first half. Josh had 3 shots. OG had 3 shots. Carl had 9. Mikhail had 3. Brunson had 15 alone. Shamit had 5. Miles had 4. Mitch had 2. Jose had 4. Clarkson had 1. That's a lot of shots to be taken up in 2 quarters of basketball. So it's like, where would he have, done it if he wasn't in the crazy groove, And so for me, I would rather him go, okay, I'm not really, and even when he did, he was still effective. He went 2 for 3. Like a lot of other people shot more shots, but had less efficiency than he did. So the shots that he took were at least decent shots. And he, it's not like the series of old where in a half of basketball, OG was playing 20 minutes. He played 16 in that half. So I think it wasn't like crazy impressive when it comes to that, but I feel like he is not forcing things, and I think it worked well with the flow of the game personally.
Yeah. Another good thing that we didn't mention is that he looks like he's moving really well and he's over the hamstring thing, because in the Cleveland series he had a brace or kinetic tape or something on the hamstring still, and he looked like he wasn't moving quite 100% in my opinion. But now that looks to be behind him.
With the rest,
did you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I think the rest definitely did him more than anyone. I think it did OG a lot of justice, just being able to get over that hamstring injury, because that's, as we saw a couple years ago, once OG went out with that hamstring, our team as a whole, everything went downhill.
I noticed one thing when they switched him to Champagny. He tried to come out and heat check OG on the first 3 and clanked it. Didn't even hit the rim. I was like, oh, shit. All right, here we go.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Because he was cooking, y'all. He was cooking. It was something. So
yeah,
was pretty
I agree. And that's a great sign, that you first play, see the difference already. That player's like, okay, it's not going to be as easy as it was in the first half. That just shows, how valuable OG Anunoby is to us. And one thing I'll say is, yes, I see him moving better. But when you come back from an injury like that after sitting for a long time, I don't think that you're going to be as aggressive off the bat as you were before. And I feel like after those first 2 quarters, he gave himself permission to be aggressive. Like, he saw that his body was fine, that he was, with the pace of the game, it wasn't bothering him, and he gave himself that green light to be aggressive. And that's what we saw in that 4th quarter, was that he was fully aggressive. And that's what you want to see at the end of game 1, because that's promising for what we're going to see in game 2. Like, all these things are promising things for game 2 because of what we saw come to fruition in game 1. So shout out to them. Shout out to the over 190 plus of you guys in the chat right now. We appreciate you guys rocking with us, continuing to see those numbers grow. Like I always say, if you're on Twitter, head on over and follow us and subscribe on YouTube. So let's wrap up this pour and go into the next one before Apollo has to call it a night, because we all know he's got toilets to clean in the morning.
Here we go. You keep calling out those toilets, man.
And I'll bring up my boy Joe when he goes down. I'll let Joe take your spot. All right. So are we going? Let's go cash strength, because he can drink the hot body on his own.
Oh, I just got excited for the cash strength. This is a high rye.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's go. I've been loving high rise lately.
Yeah, Phil's got me into the rise, man. So hopefully this continues to follow suit.
All right, Apollo. So this one is fun because we're in Tennessee, right? So everybody, you got to have a Tennessee whiskey, right? Now that as a category is small in comparison nationwide, but our second mash bill is this. This is our Old Dominic bourbon, and this is probably the one we're most known for right now, frankly. And I'll tell you why. It's 52% corn, so it still is a bourbon technically, if you're a stickler out there. But we call it a high rye because it's 44% rye. Yeah. So it's damn near a rye whiskey, right? It has all the spice, all the pepper, all the punch from that rye, but it's got a little bit of caramel sweet notes to back end, kind of balance it out a little bit. Y'all are drinking it at cask strength. It's probably 120. You got to check the bottle.
Yeah. This one is 119.
119.
I'll tell you why that's important. We do 6 barrel batches at a time. So each batch is going to be blended to profile for that same taste, but it'll vary in proof. So it'll be 118 one day when you get it on the shelf. Next time you come back, it could be 121, 124. It's always going to be the 6 barrels hand-picked, blended together. And we love that proof. But I blind this all the time with people, and then I tell them the proof afterwards, and they're like, holy crap, like, wow. Because it's not all about the proof here. It's more about the punch from that rye with kind of that caramel, kind of soft back end that people really love, almost like a cherry cola, if that makes sense. I always try to use the most, you can understand what a cherry Coke tastes like, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of got that profile. Yeah.
Yeah, I smell the cherry on the nose.
All right.
And
so we'll dive into this pour.
It's also 6 years old, minimum barrels. So you're still got a nice age to it. We're not talking about 3-year-old whiskey. And you can see Al, like the legs on it. I mean, it's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also goes in a number 4 char barrel as well. So a lot of that oak and flavor kind of stays with it.
I love the color. This is a beautiful color for bourbon.
Yeah, she got legs on her. This is like rap video legs. All right.
Yeah, it's the only thing that song was missing.
Okay.
Shout out to Roberto Torres jumping in after we win our ring. Sign Cat long term for 40 with the savings and chips to get Isaiah Hartenstein. Hey, you never know. I Heart kind of, didn't deliver as much as I wanted this year, but he also was a little bit injured. So maybe he comes back for a lesser amount than we would have signed him in the first place. But we see what happens in the offseason.
I'm getting that like that cherry cola kind of thing that you had mentioned. I'm tasting a little bit of cherry in there.
Yeah, me too. I right off the bat, like the viscosity on this is insane. Like compared to the other ones, this is very oily. It's nice. I love when bourbons go down like that.
For me, this
is like a nice coating. Yeah.
Best. I typically am a neat pour guy, but this is best with just one cube for me.
Really?
Okay.
It even becomes more oily and the proof mutes just a touch, and you get a lot more of the profile that cherry cola going on.
Yeah, this is crazy because even though it's a high rye, you get the earthiness of a rye for sure, which I like personally. I get a little bit of like that black pepper that you get in rye, but I also get like chocolate covered cherries. Like I get a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of cherry on top of it. Which for me, what it reminds me of is if I was to make a old fashioned with like mole bitters and maraschino cherries, and it'd be a high proof whiskey, this would be it. It's one of those old fashions that I love to make are, instead of 2 ounces bourbon, do like 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce rye, like this would be that, like with the maraschino in there, with the chocolate covered cherries. Yeah, this is delicious. And I love leather notes. So anytime I get a hint of leather notes, you can sign me up for the bottle over and over again. And that's what I get from this is a little bit of hint of leather, which is delicious. This is
fantastic. Yeah, this is fantastic. Oh my God.
And you'll find this one on the shelf for like $49.99.
That's what I was about to ask you. That's what?
Essentially it's like a barrel pick, like I mentioned, we're doing 6 hand-picked barrels per batch, right? So man, it's just phenomenal product. It really is.
This is incredible. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna have to order me some. Yeah,
butterscotch kind of taste in there too.
Yeah,
this one you can order on our website as well if you're not located in a market that we sell directly to brick and mortar retail. But it's probably next to the toddy. and we're gonna try to at the end. This is our number one seller, hands down.
Wow.
Yeah, this is really
You guys
good.
still in North Carolina?
No, I wish we did. Damn it! The state laws are kind of goofy, as you know.
Yeah.
We will be soon. We'll probably do it next year, but it's tough. You know,
So what is the deal with the state? Everyone that comes on this show says that, and I don't know
that, and then
because
they usually go to South Carolina, but it's
the state controls all. They basically have a state liquor board, right? So I have to go to them and say, hey, do you want to carry this product? And the state is, they bring the cases in and they sell to the state run liquor stores. So they kind of act as the wholesaler in that model. And, what they're kind of always tell you is, hey, if there's not a huge demand for it, we're not going to stock it. And, that only hurts the consumer. It doesn't, it is what it is. But
so they are controlled by ABC Liquors in North Carolina. So there's only one store that you can find anything at. Like even Total Wine is not Total Wine and Spirits there. It's just Total Wine.
It's just
That's
Total
all
Wine.
You can get.
They just have wine and beer there.
And so everything, even when it comes to the stores, the restaurants can only sell alcohol that is approved by that. So it has to be bottles that can actually be purchased in stores. So if old Dominic was approached by a restaurant like, oh, we would love to create a cocktail with you, they can't do it because
That's crazy.
It's not in North Carolina. So that's why most people in North Carolina, it's actually really funny because my mom lives in Charlotte near Apollo. There's a store called Southern Wine and Spirits, which is right across the border in South Carolina. And they actually flew and pissed North Carolina off like crazy. They flew a hot air balloon that said, like, is your liquor controlled? Ours isn't. And then their number. And it flew over Charlotte so that people knew that they could buy whatever they wanted.
Funny enough, our best store in the whole state of South Carolina is that store because people go to the border. Same thing with Bristol, Tennessee, like that part of the Tennessee Carolina border. People travel over to get stuff. So it is what it is. But we'll be there soon. Sorry.
Yeah, it's so one of my friends had come from North Carolina, from Florida, and he was like, "Let's go to Total Wine. I'll have what I'm looking for." And he could say whiskey and some tequila and stuff. And he's there. He's like, "They don't have any of that stuff here." And I didn't even know that at that time. But I realize now, I'm like, oh, I get it now. I think also Virginia as well.
Yeah. There's about 11 states that are like that.
Yeah.
So Apollo, just take the 15-minute ride over to South Carolina from where you're at. Southern Spirits is incredible. Like great bottles, great, single barrel picks and all that. Apollo, I know you got to go. So let everybody know where they can follow and support you.
Guard Up Knicks everywhere, man. Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook. Guard Up Knicks, and that'll be me, man. It's just me, myself, and I'm just kidding. My team is also as well. They're still there. As much we haven't done any shows in a little while. We're trying to work some things out behind closed doors. Still like to bring you guys a lot more content and hopefully bring some things to the Nick of Time show channel as well. Just been trying to work out some scheduling with these guys, and that's been our issue, but things are coming soon. But salute to everyone here, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro. Have a good morning.
All right, Apollo. Have a good night, man.
I look forward to texting you after we win game 2 tomorrow night.
Yep. I'll see you later. Clark, man. See you, man.
Nice
to meet you. Have a good one.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Phil.
What up, Joe? How you doing, bro?
Yo.
All right, so we're going to talk about, the next topic. All right. Before we go into the last pour, say our predictions for tomorrow and our good nights. I want to talk about Josh Hart. Historic night for Josh Hart. And a lot of people may look at the fact that he had 3 points and be like, how much are we paying for a guy that scored 3 points? And that just shows that they don't know ball, like in any way, shape, or form. This guy is the size of a point guard and had 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and a block in 26 minutes. We don't win last night without Josh Hart. Like,
Yeah, we don't.
We don't win without Josh Hart. Like, he has been our glue guy since day one of being a New York Knick, and he continues to be that glue guy. So I'll go to you first, Joe. What do you think of Josh Hart's performance last night, and how important is he on this road to getting a chip, actually winning the finals? How important is he to us?
Yeah, man. Josh Hart, he's huge, man. I was loving watching him play. Just all those rebounds he was getting out of nowhere, man. He was just, keeping us in it. And you need that. You need someone that's going to get those hard rebounds, because there was times during that game where we kind of felt like we were losing life, and he would get a big rebound for us, and we would get right back in it too, So, hey, man, there's not enough you could say about Josh Hart, even though he only had 3 points. I wasn't looking for him to shoot all these shots, I wanted him to just play his game, just try to be a connector. Be the guy that's getting the hockey assist, Move the ball in transition. Make sure we're beating them when it comes to terms of pace, because I felt like we were trying to play fast, right? But at a certain point, I almost felt like we really didn't even need to play that fast, because the way that we play is like a very methodical game. Like, we can swing the ball, we can move guys around. We could play our off-ball screens, which I'd like to see more of, because there's times where I want to see us play these actions to make the defense move, So, like I said, man, if we could just continue to play our game, Josh Hart can move the ball, play fast, faster pace, and move in transition, man, we'll be good. So, I know you guys were talking about Cat earlier. I just wanted to say, man, no one can stop Cat. He's like a train when it comes to operating in the paint. So.
Dude, he was a beast on the offensive glass last night too. He was dominant.
Yeah, and when it comes to us being down points, man, like I said, it's very important for our team. We can play from behind and we can come back. That's our MO. And I don't know many other teams that can be down 20-something points and can come back and not even blink. Who's doing that?
Without shooting a ton of threes.
We've been doing this team has been doing this since last year. Remember, we had some crazy comebacks last year, and last year.
So I mean, at the end of the day, we're the true Goliath. This NBA, this narrative, they need to bend to us. There's no more of us having to bend to their narrative. We're the Goliath in this series. I don't know how they put us at the underdogs. It didn't make any sense to me. We're the much better team. I had a sweep in this series before it started. I had a conversation with this guy on a random panel I joined, and I joined the panel on him. I said, "Yo, guys, I got the Knicks sweeping the Spurs in 4 games," and all of them started laughing at me immediately, going, "Oh yeah, sweep!" They're like, "Sweep?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "You guys want to laugh, but I've been predicting every series since we got here, man. I'm top 200 on the NBA bracket challenge, man. I know what I'm talking about. You want to kick me out of here like I'm some kind of Joe Schmo, and I don't know what I'm saying. But listen, when we sweep you guys in the finals and it's a wrap, what are you going to be saying then? Nothing. It's going to be crickets."
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree there. When it comes to Cat, I'll since you jumped to Cat, and I'll throw it to Al about Josh. What I love about Cat is he's doing all the things we need him to do without doing all the things that were hindering him earlier in the season. You're not seeing that crazy chicken wing elbow every time he drives to the paint. These are pure dominant takes to the basket, which for me, it's he's done that chicken wing fouling thing for most of his career. And he realized how much it was setting us back as a team. And he made those improvements. Those are things you cannot take away from a player. A player has done the same thing for 13 years. And he goes, how can I be better for my team? And he figures out a way by the end of the season to stop doing something he's so used to doing. You have to give props where it's due. Karl Anthony Towns has developed as a player to a whole new star level this year in the second half of the season, and especially in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on Josh Hart, Al?
Yo, Josh Hart, the best 3-point performance in NBA history. Absolutely incredible. 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, a block, and a plus 22 on the game. This guy didn't play the first half. He played 7 minutes the first half because he got in foul trouble. So all of his production pretty much came in the second half. In the last 5 minutes of the game, he had 3 huge rebounds and 2 steals. Like, these rebounds were over Wemby, taking rebounds out of his hands. And I have the clip here. It's a 30-second clip. I really want to show you guys this clip. Put this up, Phil, so you can see this.
Fox against Hart, pokes it away. Hart with the steal. Wemby drives, the shot is up, missed it. Champagnie had it, lost it. Ball.
Huge, man. Like, these are huge
Sharon,
plays.
three-pointer. Hart, another offensive rebound. Nearly throws it away. Towns has 4 fouls. Hand off to Fox. Fox gets in the paint, jump shot, too strong. Hart rips down another rebound.
Bruh.
Wemby, under a minute to play, dribbles it off his foot.
I think that was it. Yo, and this just reminds me of when there was that clip. I don't know if it was last year. I think it was last year. He went up to Mitchell Robinson and he's like, "You get regular rebounds. I get rebounds that break teams."
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's what those rebounds did right there.
Yeah, man.
Greatest 3-point performance in NBA history. Book it. Let's argue.
I don't think I've ever seen a player get a rebound, rush to the other side of the court on a fast-paced movement, and grab the rebound on the other end of the court.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy. Like, absolutely remarkable. Like, there's a lot of good things you can say about him.
I don't know ball like y'all, but I don't have stats, but I'll give you one thing. He reminds me, he impacts the game at times. I mean, he can score, clearly. But he didn't have to score last night. Y'all remember my boy Tony Allen from the Grit and Grind Grizz?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to score. He didn't even take a shot half the time. But you just know, like, when you need a board or you need to stop or need to change the pace, like, he's the guy that gets it done. He changes the dynamic of what's going on out there.
Yeah, I love it. All right, before we do our last pour and go into our last topic, I'm going to do my now run that back. All right. And this is my now run that back from my guy, Apollo. He sent this while we were on a text message, while we were on the show. And it made me crack up because it's actually really funny. Also really creepy looking at the same time.
Yeah.
So here we go. He said, "Not gonna lie, after seeing Brunson get injured and jump right back into motion, this is who I thought I saw last night." This weird Kobe Brunson concoction is creepy, but also incredible. Honestly, after he got injured twice, there was concerns. And we all know historically that the referee that was calling that game historically calls things in the favor of the other team against the Knicks. That's just what he's always done and always will do, which is why Jalen Brunson was so pissed off at him. But Jalen Brunson rose to the occasion. You know, after me and Al were like, "Oh my gosh, Brunson is down. Like, is this our season? Like, do we really end it with Brunson getting hurt in the finals and not being able to prove who he is?" And Jalen Brunson shakes it off, comes back. And if you watch the post game, they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, just be honest with us. Like, how are you feeling? Like, how bad does it hurt? And Jalen just smiles and he goes, "I'll be okay." You know, like that's his MO, is like, my body is hurting, but I don't care. Like, this is playoff time. This is the finals. So shout out to JB for that. Let's go into this last pour and then end on our predictions for, you know, the next series. I do want to give a shout out to our bench and the production that they put up. You got, you know, Jose Alvarado doing what he does. Landry Shamet went 5 for 9, which cannot go, you know, without recognition. He also had 1 rebound. Miles McBride had 4 assists, so you got to give props there. It was pretty much a team win last night, and that's all you can ask for this far into the playoffs. So let's go into this last pour. I'm interested in this. All right. My wife is a huge fan of hot toddies, and this is called the Original Toddy, 60 proof. So tell us a little bit about this right here.
All right. So I mentioned that old Dominic kind of predates Prohibition, right? So we're talking about 150 years ago. This product was around and widely distributed all over the country. What they would do back in the day is we would take White Lightning, White Dog, Moonshine, whatever you want to call it, right? And flavor it because back in the day, like they needed to kind of impart better flavors to, let's just call it bad whiskey, right? So our founder was a street merchant. He had a produce cart and he had grocery stores and all this kind of things. So he would take barrels of whiskey and he would put cinnamon and clove, black pepper, dried fruit, whatever he had lying around, and he would flavor that whiskey to make, at the time, the first bottled toddy, right? And mind you, this is before penicillin, before Advil, before all that, right? So sometimes, people drank medicinally. And so this kind of was birthed as a medicinal pour, although it was then just consumed on its own and people just enjoyed drinking it. But it kind of carved itself a niche by being, what they used to advertise it as a pour that cures all ailments. In fact, doctors would actually prescribe this to people. Now, we do it a little different. We're taking the same concept, but we're taking a 3-year-old barrel of our high rye bourbon that we just tried.
Okay.
And we're adding cinnamon, clove, spices, sugar, of course, some water, and then we're, steeping those spices inside the barrel itself, and then chill filtering it. So you can hold the bottle up, Phil, to the camera a little bit. It's kind of got like a little bit of a hue, a little bit to it, because it's a natural process. It's all natural ingredients.
Okay.
Okay.
And the way we like to drink it is just over ice, or you warm it up. You warm it up and add a little bit of cider, or just warm it up on its own, dude. It changes completely. So it's like Christmas in a bottle. That's how I like to describe the way it tastes,
All right.
and the way it smells.
I'm gonna get ice real quick, and I'll be right back.
Do it.
So when I lived in New York, I used to. Sorry, that made it seem like I'm not from New York. My last few years in New York, I was throwing these ugly Christmas sweater parties. And one year, my mom's cool, so she used to party with us too. One year, my mom made hot toddies because obviously it's cold in New York, and that was so that's like a core memory. It was so good. We had the windows up, open, so because it's cold, but you're drinking the warm hot. So they were warm hot toddies that we were drinking to keep us warm, and they just went over so well. Everyone drank it, they loved it, and finished it. So I'm excited.
It reminds me of hanging out, just being, being around friends. Like that's kind of this particular one is supposed to be shared, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it says shake before. Is that because there's so many additives in it to make sure that they're all okay?
I mean, it's shelf stable in a sense, but it's hand done, right? So there's no preservatives, no additives to it. So that's why we put it on the bottle. Hey, shake it up a little bit, but and it's low proof, it's not a low ABV type thing, which now is very, a big craze. Not for me, I don't love it, but
but ready, but the other. These ready to drink cocktails are a bit of a craze.
Oh, they're huge right now. Yeah. And the way I like to make an old fashioned, as you were talking about this earlier, Phil, maybe mixing a little bourbon and rye. I take an ounce and a half of bourbon and a half ounce of this, and you're out the door. It's literally that's a perfect spicy old fashioned.
And Phil likes to make cocktails too.
Yeah,
love it. This smells awesome. And my wife, what I love about this is whenever we're sick, we're like, hey, let's make a hot toddy. So this would be incredible to just throw in the microwave.
I tell a lot of people, if you do that, which a lot of people do, you got to go get bourbon, honey, all this other stuff. You get this, you pour it right out of the bottle and you're good to go.
I love it. All right. So let's grab it for this and we'll talk about this. I want to play this video real quick. So, one thing that I hold true to, is the idea of, checking your pride. I feel like when you're too haughty or you're too consumed with yourself, there's always going to be a downfall. And so, one of my, verses that I hold true to on myself, when I was making music, when I'm creating content, anything like that, is Proverbs 16:18. It says, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Like pride comes before the fall. That's something that we all know, we all hear about. And so I want to play this video because I feel like it's imperative for the future of this series. Because I think that like anyone in professional sports knows that there's ups and downs. And I think when you're willing to acknowledge those ups and downs, like Jalen Brunson has many times this series, going, I just need to be better. Like, we need to learn. We need to figure this out as a team. It has actually pushed us to be better because he's admitted where he's fallen short and he's been like, how do I get better? But I feel like this right here predicts how this series is going to go. This is Victor Wembanyama after this last series. And it shows a lot of his pride, his ego, and I think that this is going to completely come back and bite him and the Spurs.
What do you think you need to do in this series that you've done so far?
I mean, it's almost not like I have anything to figure out. It's almost like I have to be normal, not even good. I just it's like I'm just doing the right things is enough. It's when we pay man, when I pay man, is when we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's this is why I'm not worried. It's we're gonna be so much better. I'm gonna be so much better.
Like in every video that you see of him from that loss, he pretty much has an ego of, we don't have to do anything different. Like at the end of the day, we're better. I'm gonna be better. And this is in the bag. Like he just believes so much of himself that there's no room for improvement. There's no room for growth. And I feel like that's going to be their downfall. And so I've been Knicks in 6 this whole time. But I think I'm going to shift. I think it's going to be Knicks in 5. And I think that we're going to take this. Al, what are your thoughts on his post game, his persona of it's not the Knicks. It's just, all I got to do is be me, and we got this.
I'm going to be nice and shoot him some bail because originally when I heard that, I thought it was very cocky. But I went back and listened to it again, and I was like, are we missing something? Is there something that's like kind of being lost in translation? Remember, he is French. So I think what he was trying to say was like, I think he's probably attributing the fact that he went 6 for 21 to him trying to do too much, like for him trying to be the superhero and like bring his team, like to will his team to victory. And he's like, I got to get out of my own head and just play my game, like, and not try to do that, like, because that was to my detriment. I want to think that that's what he was trying to say, because if it's what you were saying, and honestly, to be quite frank, he always sounds the way that you said, Phil. Like he's done it in other post games where he sounds very arrogant and cocky. So I could see you why you said that. I can see why most people think that. But when I listened to it, I was like, maybe he didn't. I'm gonna cut him some bail. But either way, they're getting swept. I think they're getting swept. Listen, this is a guy that has been babied his whole career. He the minutes that he plays, the amount of games that he plays. This is his first playoff run, and he's all the way in the finals already. And he also played FIBA basketball this summer. He emptied the gas tank on OKC. The way he cried after that, like that was all that mattered to him, was beating OKC. And now he's here and his gas tank is on E. This has happened before in the NBA when Shaq was a dominant presence, just like Wemby. He led his 95 Magic to the team and got swept by the Houston Rockets and the 32-year-old Hakeem Olajuwon. And to a lesser extent, Dwight Howard did the same thing with the Magic. He was super dominant, got to the finals, got swept as well. And then LeBron did it too. In 2007, LeBron led his team to the finals and he got swept. So, we're quick to anoint Wemby as the alien and this next like super being of the NBA, and people love seeing greatness and they love watching the Knicks lose. So people are gonna constantly keep cheering for Wemby and they're gonna keep spinning narratives to say that Wemby's gonna beat us. But I really, really don't think that it's their time. That this team is also super, super young. Wemby is 22. I don't know the last time that a 22-year-old led their team in terms of like being not just the points leader, but also the vocal leader, the actual captain and leader of the team. I don't know the last time that there was a player that has done that. And also his supporting cast, like usually when you have a player that's that young, the supporting cast is probably veterans and stuff. His supporting cast is a 19-year-old and another 21-year-old. So like that's unprecedented. I just don't see it. I don't think it's gonna happen. They're not like my guy Lee said. These guys, they're gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not even in their prime yet. Like they're just not mature yet. Like it's like they're like a 3-year-old bourbon, a 2-year-old bourbon right now. Like they gotta simmer a little bit more in that barrel. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that's where I think they're at. I think they're gonna lose this game, this series, and in the years to come they're gonna be a force. But right now, this is gonna be their learning lesson, and this is our time. It's not their time right now.
I think that's a great point. The only thing I'll push back on is in the rest of the interview, I feel like with humility comes a form of accountability. His whole thing was, I'm not worried in the slightest. He continued to say that, throughout the postgame. I agree with you that this team is young and they're going to mature. I feel like they are already a great team, and I feel like give it another 2 years and they could have a dynasty. They could be the team for 3-4 years back to back. Because they're young, they still have picks, they still have pieces that they can move. You imagine him, Vassell, Castle, Champagny, and moving Harper even to the bench. Harper's good, but imagine bringing someone else into that lineup. They just have the opportunity to continue to grow and thrive, which I'm glad the Knicks time is right now. Because I think in 2 years we'd have to make some serious changes for the development of what they're going to do. But I feel like they are young. Their coach is young in his amount of experience, and all that's going to come with time, and they are going to be a legacy kind of team.
Well, look, even like what he's saying in the post games is going to be a learning lesson to him, right? You can see the immaturity there. You could see the immaturity up and down the organization, the way that the Spurs played like these cartoon sounds when they would introduce the Knicks starting five, like trolling the Knicks. It's like, why are you poking the bear? One of the things that I love about this Knicks team is that every time they ask us a leading question where you could just like provide bulletin board material to the other team, the Knicks take the high road. They never fall for that trap. It's like, you don't need to do that. Like, there's no reason. They're already like trying to beat you. Like, you don't need to add, more into the fire, more wood to the fire. So they're going to learn those are some of the other lessons that they're going to learn off the court too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Joe, what are your thoughts on Victor and his, perception right now?
Well, Al, that's a great point, man, because I said it, I said rude awakening. I said eventually, the things are going to turn and things are going to go the way we want them to. Like JB is going to turn up. He's going to go Super Saiyan mode. He's going to take full control of the game and impose our will. And that's what's been happening, So when it comes to the Knicks, man, I've been saying this team's got fight, man. I've been saying this team's got grit. Like, we can beat anybody as long as we don't beat ourselves. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Wemby, I don't care. He's an alien. Well, guess what? We're the Men in Black. So straight up.
I love that. I had a friend of mine, my guy Dram Daddy, who's part of like the whiskey community, and he said something about like, I I hope Jalen does well because he's originally from Chicago and I'm from Chicago. But at the end of the day, you guys can't handle the alien. And I was like, just done like recording and releasing the album with Tony, and I was just in like bar mode, and I was just like, yo, remember, even ET got sent home, and like he's the most famous alien of all time, and he got sent home, and so that's how I feel as well. I think that it's going to be, I thought it was Knicks in 6. I think it's going to be Knicks in 5. I'd love a sweep, but I think that either the next game, I feel like they're going to do everything to not disappoint San Antonio after like a huge year of support from San Antonio. I feel like they're going to either try to, keep it alive and, make the series go at least, to 5. So I feel like if they win, it'll be this next game, but I don't think a sweep is out of question. Because I feel like I said earlier, we won the last game and we started off with like 2.5 quarters of mediocrity, So I think a sweep is definitely possible, which would be the most historic way for the Knicks to win, 3 back-to-back sweeps. So I would love that, but I'm going to be generous and say that the Spurs pull off 1 game and go 5. But we'll see.
Man, Phil, this is a hot train, man. You're not stopping this hot train. We're blowing teams out in game 4, bro. We're giving them a 40-point BTA. That's what we're going to do to the Spurs team. We're going to let them know, and we're putting their foot on their neck, and we're not letting them up, not for a second.
I'm completely fine with that.
This team is in total elite domination mode, bro. This is the biggest streak we've ever seen in Knicks history, man. Yeah. This Knicks team is different. Yo,
and if they think they didn't do anything wrong, and we just played our worst game, like
I got Knicks and I got a sweep, and if there's a small caveat, if the Knicks can play, if they can slow the game down a bit more, because the Spurs are elite when they play like open gym, like summer league ball, right? Yeah. And what's happening in the first quarter? If the Knicks can slow them down and like be methodical, the Spurs can't hang. They just can't do it.
Yeah, so. I agree. And Joe, you're not gonna like piss me off to like have the Knicks win in 4. Like I'm okay with that. I'm good. Like I'm ready to celebrate. I'm just being modest and saying I still think that they are great players.
I don't see us beating them in any other way.
Even though I don't think that they are the right now, I think that they are the future, and that they've proven that they are a good team. I think they're the best team that we will play in the playoffs. So I want to give them, the possibility of winning 1 game. At first, I gave them 2. Now I'm like, no, definitely not 2, maybe 1. But we'll see.
There, man, we snatched their souls, man. These kids, these inexperienced players, they're all sitting there moping. How are we going to beat this team? Because we know we can't. And we're over here sitting, we can't give them a second to breathe. When Cat was in that huddle and he told everybody, this is what we got to do to win this game. They know what they got to do to execute, and they've been executing. We've been doing it on an elite, like almost like fantasy land style, man.
If the Knicks sweep, this is going to be one of the most dominant playoff runs in NBA history. It's going to go down as that for sure.
Not one of the most. It will be the most dominant playoff run in NBA history.
It's got to be ever.
Yeah. Like people have said that like we've swept because the like East was weak, but that when we got to the West that we would like realize what it's like to actually play a contender. Like if we sweep the West as well, all that jargon is out the window. Like no one can
shot at home.
Dude, we're a bunch of dudes that have been snubbed for every single position. Think about it. Jalen Brunson, MVP. Cat should have been all NBA. OG should have been first team defense. Sixth man of the year should have went to Deuce, right? Mike Brown should have got coach of the year. That's 5 people, 5 accolades. They're stealing all our stuff and we know it. But we want the real hardware. We don't care about that little stuff.
All right.
We want the real hardware, man.
So I'm not jumping out the window as crazy as you are.
Let's go, Joe.
Because when I look at all defensive team, Cat's first half of the season was rough defensively. Let's be real. So I can't give him that.
No, he said he should be all NBA, all NBA. He didn't make all NBA.
Okay. So, and then when it comes to Miles McBride, when he first came back, he was rough. Kolek was getting his minutes. Clarkson
Yeah.
was getting his minutes. Shamus was getting his minutes. So I don't want to go that far, but I do want to say this New York team is the best team, and this is no shade to my 90s Knicks that I grew up on. This is the best from top to bottom roster of a New York Knicks team I have ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah,
and
it's not close.
You can battle with the starters, that's fine, but when it comes to top to bottom from 1 to 10, this is by far the greatest New York Knicks team I have ever seen. And so I celebrate that. I also want to celebrate this pour real quick. Clark, this is awesome. I'm getting real quick, I'm getting ginger snaps, which I love ginger snaps. Those things are delicious. So I get ginger snaps. I'm getting a little bit of, cinnamon. I'm getting a little bit of, allspice. The spice is definitely there. And a little bit of honey. This is a great, great pour, especially on ice. I like it a lot better on ice than not on ice. So I think
I'm gonna have to try it on ice because I didn't try it on ice. I'm gonna have to try that.
Neat, the clove and spice is a lot more predominant, but
that's what I'm tasting.
It's a little bit sweeter, and the citrus comes out a little bit more. So it is truly two different spirits, which I think is fun too, depending on how you want.
I was gonna say I was surprised you didn't mention the orange zest because I smell that on the nose very prominently.
I smell it, but I don't taste it.
You taste it with an ice cube for sure, or a little bit more.
Yeah. So I love this. The only thing I'm gonna say about Old Dominic, I'm really bummed that the 8-year is sold out because I was reading up on an 8-year and that sounds absolutely delicious. That one sounded really cool with the whole cream soda smell and everything like that. I guess I gotta look at it.
Releasing more in August, so stay tuned for that.
I thought you were gonna say the only thing you're bummed about Old Dominic is that they didn't put a K in front of the N. And really went for it in terms of Knicks.
There we
Old
go.
Dominic, baby, real. Come on, man.
Maybe we need to do a barrel pick for y'all and
that was crazy.
That's what we need to do.
So sick. Yeah. All right.
Championship barrel pick. That's what we need.
All right.
That'd be
Clark,
awesome.
let everybody know where they could support what you guys are doing.
Yeah, follow us along on socials. Just look up Old Dominic. If you're not in the state that we're sold in, go to our website. If you are, go to your local liquor store. Ask for us by name. It's a hard game nowadays with the big boys dominate the marketplace. So if you find a craft brand, whether it's Old Dominic or somebody else, do me a favor and go ask for that by name and ask them to put it on the shelf because people like us are I think the backbone of the whiskey community. And so follow us along and let's go Knicks. Get the title, baby.
Thank you, bro. Seriously, appreciate
so much,
you.
man.
These pours were amazing. Having you on as a guest was a blessing. So thank you so much, Clark. Appreciate you, bro.
Enjoyed it.
Let's keep in touch.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bro.
Take care.
Have a good night. All right, Joe. Let everybody know where they can follow you, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys can follow me at the Most Optimistic Knicks Fan on YouTube. I got the shorts coming out, so you gotta check those out.
I gotta follow you. Hold on, let me go follow you.
And I got this one short out that's really funny. I literally just went to this guy's open panel just randomly on YouTube, and he's a 1993 Knicks fan that turned Pacer fan. So I had to cook him, and all that's on the short. So could you believe that? A guy that was a Knicks fan is now a Pacers fan.
That's disgusting.
I just found you. I just followed you.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So, but yeah, man, the Most Optimistic Knicks Fan on YouTube.
Thank you so much for being part of it, bro. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for having me on, Phil, man. Salute
All
you
right,
out.
no problem. Appreciate
Yo,
you.
peace, Joe. Let's go Knicks.
All right, reminder to everybody, tomorrow, me and Al will be right here at the Knicks watch party for Game 2 at North 30 alongside our family at the Tampa Bay area Knicks group. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, hit us up. We'd love to get those questions answered. Do us a favor, get there before 6:30 if you want a table. Like, at the end of the day, we know by 7 p.m. you will be standing. And I can't create tables. Al can't create tables, but we'd love to have you guys there. So, Al, let people know where they can follow you.
Yo, Al from Harlem on Twitter and on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I've been really focusing on Instagram a lot lately. So definitely catch me on Instagram. And also the Nick of Time show on YouTube. I'm on 2 different shows. I'm on this show, and I'm also on Nick Life Crisis, which is my other show, my original show, I would say, with my boy Ra, which is 2 40-year-old dudes, traumatic Knicks fans, navigating, the Knicks fandom and dad life, all the hilarious things with dad life. So if you could, resonate with that, that's a show for you. We're gonna go live on Saturday, 10 a.m. right now is the time we're gonna go live. So stay tuned for that. But I also pop in and out of the other shows that we have on the Nick of Time. So sometimes I'm on the post game, sometimes I'm on the previews and the matchup analysis shows that they have. So just stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 10K. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and share it with your other Knick fan friends. We're producing a bunch of great content, a bunch of good analysis. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone, right? So keep it locked with the channel. We got everything that you need there. But yeah, that's all the places that you can find me.
Yeah. All right. So shout out to everybody that's rocking with us. We have 203 people that are still in the chat right now.
Let's go.
Seriously, thank you. That's been a blessing. Like, subscribe. Be here tomorrow night for the KOT show. They'll be right after the game giving their analysis of what they saw. Lee, Ebony, possibly Ebony. She'll probably do a pregame show. But B, Ryan, Fritz, Jay Ellis, our whole crew will be here. Me and Al will be at the watch party, so we won't be a part of that. But we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. If you drank responsibly. Please do not get behind the wheel. Take care of yourself. Like always, God bless. Shout out to my brother Al. Shout out to my brother Apollo. Shout out to all of the people that watched our show tonight. Shout out to old Dominic for sending these pours that were absolutely delicious. Please make sure you support them. And until next time, God bless. And let's go Knicks. Let's get tomorrow's game. Appreciate you guys.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stay down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the door.